Welcome to the Hands Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast. You are locked into the most intense, most over-the-top, ridiculous podcast in the history of podcasting and live streaming. It is myself, Christopher Deary, and a special guest today. We're going to go big or we're going to go home, but we hope to stay big because we don't want to go home because that would mean the show would be over. I am Michael Govier. You can catch me at MJ Govier on Twitter. MJ, G-O-V as in Victor, I-E-R. And, of course, he's Christopher Deary. You can catch him at CDeary1999. Deary, how are you?
I'm well. That was quite the enthusiastic introduction. You must be pretty excited tonight, Michael, on, what are we, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday.
I'm always excited. This is what we do. We got to bring the energy, the passion, the excitement, and the pleasure because this is the Palazzo Podcast. That's right. 2 L's, 2 Z's on Twitter. Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. Today's guest is another long line of legendary guests that we've had on this show. But he might be the most special. And I'll say that on the record. I'll go live with that because he's supportive and he's caring. He's funny and he knows baseball. There's really not a lot of negatives here. He's got a great wife. He lives in one of the most ridiculous states in the union. It's a place where, Yancy can be himself. Yes, it is the man that most people know on Twitter as Yancy Eaton. Some people call him the mayor. I just call him Yancy. Hello, Yancy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I already have so much to unpack. First off, hell is sitting here quietly while somebody speaks your praises. I want to die. It's so bad. Not that you didn't do a great job. It's not that you didn't do a great job. It's that what do you do? What do I do with my hands? What do I look at? It's very uncomfortable. I normally like to do the self, defecating kind of things and make my defecating. Listen to me. Wow. We're doing really good on this show.
Get that diaper out.
Fantastic start. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I do live in Florida. If you guys see me get progressively shinier, I say this every podcast that I have a video component to. I am in my garage. We do not have AC set up. We live in South Florida. It is very hot. So be patient with me. If you guys hear me slurping down water and stuff, that's why. Also, I have a bone to pick with you, Govier. I have a bone to pick with you. Okay. I used to be known as that high energy guy that would come on podcasts and live streams. That used to be my gig. Okay. And now I said this on Potapalooza, or was it PitchCon? I can't remember, one of the two.
It was Potapalooza. It was last weekend. Yeah.
They all bleed together, but I did both of them. But like I said, it used to be my thing. And I literally said on the stream, I don't know if you caught my panel, but I said, I refuse to be outworked and out-energized by Michael Govier. It's not happening anymore. It's not. So I'm here. I'm freaking ready. Deary beloved is here. Deary, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring the energy that you guys. I'll play the quiet straight man today.
Wow. Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. Govier, we've become quite good friends the last couple of months. I love what you guys are doing. You guys are just kicking butt. You're your own thing. You're totally original. The songs, the candor, everything. It's here. This is the clunkiest introduction ever, by the way. But I'm happy to be here. This is truly a dream come true. 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Hey, wow, thank you. That's so kind of you. We got to give you your own Busey drop for that one. I'm impressed. I didn't think that you would be so kind. You're a real asshole most of the time. So, wow.
Yikes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really
also,
nice.
I've been saving the Deary beloved for 3 months. Just waiting
beloved.
To drop it. I thought
no
it
one's
was so
ever
clever.
said that. No, it's fresh. That is fresh. You get total copyright on that.
Once my wife gets a grasp of that, she's going to be saying that constantly. Deary beloved.
Really?
Chris, you hear that?
Good job, Yance.
Deary beloved. My wife's name is Chris as well.
I can't tell if you're being facetious. Is this actually original, or does he get it all the time?
I've never said it ever. I'm serious. I'm quite serious with you right now. I get that a lot too. People who don't know me as well, they don't know if I'm being serious. I want to tell you, I am being serious.
It's real. It's definitely real.
Your copyright. You have the trademark. Congratulations. You did it, man.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
Woohoo! That's great. That's exciting. What a way to start the show with Yancy Eaton here. Yancy's on Twitter, and you can follow him on Twitter if you like because, he's a good follow regardless of any desire or lack thereof for baseball. He still is a funny dude, and he really did help me out. He thought I was fucking with him. I feel like you thought I was joking around with you, but you really did reignite my passion for music, and that's what led to where we are with this show right now. And I don't think that's hyperbole to say that. I realized in November that I wasn't listening to a lot of music anymore, and I was like really dragging ass, and I wasn't engaging with my Spotify and playlists and connecting in any way. It was all like podcast, too podcast heavy, and then we started like exchanging songs. You got me motivated in a way that like made me excited, and so I started digging into it, and I had like a reclamation in November and through December, and now here we are, and that's all because of you. So thank you.
And now you're just writing podcast theme intros for everybody.
Yes.
I feel like you're living in my mind rent free all the time. Like I hear everything. I've been listening to the podcast you do with Leanne. I listened to you talk to John L for 5 hours the other day. That was half my day. Like,
dude, that is impressive. That's impressive. Oh, we got a question from Brock. He wants to know, how the fuck does this app work? I don't know. Which app are you on, Brockness? I don't know. I can't help you there. So, but anyways, yeah, it's great to be here with Yancy. Me and Deer are excited. We got a big show today. As always, we're going to talk about fantasy baseball. We'll break down some stuff, take a look at some spring training notes, probably. We'll give you some insane fantasy takes because we have to. Yancy's on the show, and he loves insane fantasy takes. So it wouldn't be a show if we didn't do some insane fantasy takes. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. 2 L's, 2 Z's, man.
Utah, give me 2.
Hey, and he says typing. Here's Mendy's in the house. Dave Mendy.
Of course he is. Mendy's like every episode now. We love you, Dave.
What up,
Mendos
Mendy?
the fresh maker, my boy.
Mendos the fresh maker. I like. Man, you're on a roll with these.
We're going to be with those guys tomorrow.
That is correct, dearie. We will be. That's part of the housekeeping. I guess we might as well just get into the housekeeping. Fire up the old Belvedere music here. The piano. There it is. Oh yeah, love that Belvedere. We will be on the Triple Play podcast Thursday night. I assume it'll be a live stream too. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. But we'll be on that show. Me and Deary. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a great time. I will also be on the Roto Brits podcast with Peter and Ryan, which is going to be really cool. That's tomorrow afternoon. So I'm very excited for that. I've always wanted to go to England and see what it's like there. And I even posted on Twitter earlier today. I was like, I have a fantasy about like dating an English girl and have her say my name, and like it'd be so cool. I just love English women and their voices. But I have a girlfriend who I love very much, so
maybe we can teach Leanne to get the accent down.
Well, she's Canadian. It's somewhat
so she's got that going, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited to be on the Rotobridge show. Peter and Ryan are good shits. They're good people, and I'm very, very much looking forward to talking about outfielders with them. Have you ever listened to the Rotobrits, Yancy?
I have. Accents are difficult for me because I listen to podcasts at like 2x speed. So it's kind of distracting. Yeah. How do I jam them all in? Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts. It's 2x.
I never thought about it. Yeah, you would have to.
Yeah. Do you know what some of your theme songs sound like at 2x speed, by the way? Like Insane in the Membrane, sped up. It's like, yeah.
A little faster, yeah.
By the way, I'm seeing how the sausage is made a little bit. I think I kind of knew this listening, but your drops and the music is playing in my headphones right now.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yep.
Yeah, was not expecting that.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, like, need to turn my
it's all
Spotify
live.
off. I have like Frank Sinatra playing or something.
He plays host, producer, the sound of wall guy, everything. He does it all.
Did you think we put it in like post effects? Is that what you thought?
I guess I just assumed, yeah. I've been on podcasts where there's no drops whatsoever, and then you go back and listen to it, you know?
Well, the board changed our life. When I got the board back in December, it changed everything.
Listen, Govier, this is your job to keep me reined in, because I have bad habits when it comes to podcasting. They run long, people get upset, people get bored, and they check out.
Hot soldier,
we have
get
to keep
yourself
the
in line,
train
boy. I said throw down, boy. Come on. Let's throw down. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. 4 hours right now, Yancy.
Yeah.
We're going to do 4 hours tonight, just for you
No, we're
guys.
not.
No, we're not. I didn't even get to the damn housekeeping. All right, let me
All right,
housekeep. So let's get the broom out and do housekeeping. You do the counters and vacuuming, and I'll do the bathroom. Everyone hates doing the bathroom. That's always isn't that the worst part of cleaning the whole house? The bathroom, probably.
I don't like the kitchen. I'm not a fan of the kitchen.
Yeah, kitchen's not great either.
Just food sitting around, old food, disgusting food. You know what I mean?
Oh,
No.
well, if it's like a
Not for
gross
me.
shithole, yeah.
No, the bathroom's the worst, man. You
Yeah,
get
that's
that
where the
like,
poop is.
you get that spray that has like bleach in it. And you shut the door because you're listening to music too loud, so your wife can't hear. And then like you come out and you're like all dizzy and like all fucked up on bleach, and you like fall over. So yeah, the bathroom's the worst.
This is the
that's
weirdest podcast experience I've had in a long time.
That's
I mean
the
that in
point,
the best
man.
possible way.
Are you here? I'm here. Well, anyways, I actually had quite a cleaning story. When I first, I was desperate for a job, and I was like cleaning people's houses. Do you remember when I did this for a minute back in like 2016, the beginning of 2016, Deary?
Did you put a tie and a vest on? I don't remember. You've had 100 jobs in your life, so I have
That's
no
true. I
idea
have had.
which
He's
one
not
this
kidding.
one was.
He's not kidding either. I've had close to 100 jobs in my life. That's not a joke. But I had this job where I was cleaning houses, so I worked for like a cleaning service. For
You were fucking Belvedere, man.
No. It was
Well, you
like the
weren't like
shitty
living
one.
with them, right?
Yeah, it was like the people you call in to like clean your house when you're not there, like Molly Maid or something like that. So I lived in Ann Arbor, where Deary lives now, Ann Arbor, Michigan, home of the University of Michigan. And
I've heard of
I had
it.
Yes, yeah. Wolverines, hail to the victors, blah, blah, blah. They got smoked last night by Illinois. That was awful. But I needed work, so I would work for this cleaning company. And they sent us to a fucking frat house. We had to clean frat houses, of all places.
Oh, wait a minute. I do remember this now.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
Like,
this.
this was nasty. I mean, this was like a real big ass frat house. Like, just imagine people living in total excess with a lot of money, and they have everything at their fingertips, and they have no regard for cleaning anything. I mean, there was like, there's just carry out shit everywhere, and bong, all the stuff, bong water, and all the nasty trash. And so I'm cleaning this place up, and I look on the wall, like the people, they got the, hey, here's this year's class, and here's who's president of the frat that year, or some douchebag. Usually, I'm not a big fan of frats.
Obviously.
Obviously, yeah. And I'm
Names
looking
like
on there.
Chad or Ryan or something. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Thaddeus. And I found two of my former students, because I used to be a high school teacher. They were on the wall. I was cleaning their fucking place. They were there at that time. One of them was. And I was like, it just blew my mind. Because I had been this high school social studies teacher. I was a baseball coach. I was living the good life. Then I got hooked on opioids and my life fell apart. And that's how I ended up working that shitty ass job. And that was like the lowest of the low. I'm like cleaning my fucking former student's frat house. And I was like, this is as low as it gets right here. I
Life
don't know how.
experiences, though. To piggyback off your story, when I was in high school, between like my freshman and junior year for about 2 years, I skipped school every Friday to help my mom clean houses. That's what I did every Friday. Teachers never called me out for it. It was never an issue. Graduated, the whole thing. But every Friday, I would go clean houses with my mom.
Nobody cared.
Yep.
Nobody cared.
You do learn a lot, though, like how disgusting people can be and how like a lacking of basic decency. And I'm the type of person where, like, if I were to have like somebody come over to clean my house, I would preemptively clean it. There's certain things I do not want you to see, and like they didn't care at all. I mean, you can leave it to your imagination what types of things I had seen, but yeah.
Wow. Man,
Wow.
I'm going to leave it to my imagination. You're right. But I didn't just like know those kids. I taught them and I coached them in baseball and shit too. Like he was the catcher. I mean, he was like our captain of the last year I was a teacher there. It was so crazy.
They looked up to you. You were a role model for them. Mike.
I was. Yeah.
They
Well,
probably were telling stories at the University of Michigan about their great high school history teacher, Michael Govier.
Dude, he was the best, man. Hits bong. Like,
oh, man, you know, dude, this one time at practice.
Remember that Govier, dude?
Look, yes, they probably did that, but actually the baseball players didn't like me much. They thought I was too stern. They thought I was like really cold and like too hardcore. I guess I didn't really realize at the time I was being too tough on them, but that's what they said. They said, you were such a dick when you were a coach. You were so nice as a teacher. I'm like, I guess I didn't find that balance,
You're the original Norman Dale, Mike.
Oh, hey-oh. Well, anyways, let's give a shout out and thanks to Mason Dodd, because we haven't done any housekeeping. We just talked about cleaning houses. Thank you, Mason Dodd, for having me on the Fantasy Baseball Flock Network. It's on YouTube. Go to the Fantasy Baseball Flock and follow him. Put a subscribe to it. I got about 6 videos on his channel where I talk about various things, strategy, pitcher conundrums, Darvish or Nola, things like that. So go check him out. It was very cool to have me on his network to talk about fantasy baseball. So I would love if you guys go check that out. The Fantasy Flock Fantasy Baseball channel on YouTube. And then thanks again to the Salinger /Mason crew for doing Potapalooza. That was awesome. They raised about $8,000. That's a plus. That's a bonus for life and society. And I want to thank them for putting that on because I know it's a lot of work, even though Justin won't take credit and he's always, making fun of himself. So thank you for that. And a shout out to Joe Gentile. Thank you, Joe, for connecting with the show and saying positive things about us and sharing your story with me. He shared a story of some personal stuff in his life that he's been pretty open about on Twitter now, and you can check him out. I would strongly recommend follow Joe. He's a really nice guy, and he's authentic, and I get to meet him on the feed Monday night for the TGFBI streaming thing. And, yeah. Oh, and then lastly, Joe... I've never said his name out loud. Joe Pisapia?
You're right.
Pisapia.
Oh, is it Pisapia?
Is it Pisapia?
Yeah, we used to podcast together.
You used to podcast together? Really?
Yeah, we did Dear Mr. Fantasy together. Yeah, for a while.
What
Joe's
was
a friend.
this?
Years ago.
Like many,
I'm
many,
no spring chicken. I've been around. Yeah. Joe's a really good friend of mine.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. See, this is the kind of stuff.
Pisapia? Is that what you said, Yance?
It's Pisapia. Yep. But if you want to call him Pisapia or whatever you said, you could do that too.
I thought it was Pisapia. We faced off
Pisapia.
against him last year in the Battle of the Pods.
That's right, we did. Yeah, that was the first time I encountered his name. But anyways, him and Dan Harris had me on the Fantasy Pros podcast. We did a mock draft. So if you want to check that out, please go to the Fantasy Pro Fantasy Baseball podcast channel and scope it. It was a lot of fun hanging out with those guys, and I'm really glad they invited me on, and I hope to do it again sometime. They're fun, they're quick, they're fast-paced, they love Seinfeld. It's great. All good times. All right, there we go. I think that's enough housekeeping. We can close the book on that. Yancy, how's your TGFBI team doing?
I'm going to be honest with you. Ryan Hallam at, I think it's Fighting Chance Fantasy. It's his handle. He sniped me so hard. Like, I feel like I was banished to the Shadow Realm. I wanted Tyler Glasnow so freaking bad as my SP2, and he made it all the way back to me. And of course, freaking Ryan, right before me, took him. And I have some friends that I was texting about TGFBI and stuff. Yeah, it was dirty. It was cold. And he sniped me, and everybody's like, well, who are you gonna take next? My little chat group or whatever. And I'm like, who cares? Like, at this point, like, I was so deflated. I cared so much. Like, the proverbial don't count any of your chickens. Don't plow the field. Don't eat the beans before they sprouted. I don't know. I was so upset, and I'm still upset because now, like, my rotation is sketch. Like, I didn't want to have to reach for, some of these scrubs that are going like the top 100. So
yeah,
it's kind of upsetting. But I will say this, as a whole, my team's coming together. I drew 14th, which was kind of the plan. And I got Giolito as my ace. I felt great about. Yeah, I went for the gusto. I went for all the marbles. I took Mondesi second. And
I have Giolito as well. So
yeah, well, you're a smart man. Obviously, you have your own podcast, 2Ls, 2Zs. So I didn't feel super great about posting a screenshot of just Giolito and Mondesi, because Mondesi is that one player where unless you show the 4 or 5 picks afterwards and show what you're building around it, it's always going to look bad by itself. And everybody always says, good luck on the batting average. Like, okay, he's actually been like a, league average and batting average. Like, he's projected to bat like 250 with 55 home runs in 20, or with 55 stolen bases and 20 home runs. So, maybe like, I don't know, like, do your homework, I guess you could say. But,
everybody gets shit on for taking Mondesi.
Yeah, but it's a plan. You build around it. I have Eloy with him. I have Eugenio Suarez. It's weird saying him out loud, and you realize that you don't know how to actually say a person's name. Suarez.
Eugenio Suarez? Yeah, it's former Tiger. Yeah. We really blew that one. So.
Yeah, but my pitching's coming around. I had to reach for Karinchak a little bit because I felt like I was going to be falling behind in Ks just because I waited on pitching so long. Yes, he is the most polarizing player, Brock. You're absolutely right. But this year, I'm telling you, 55 stolen bases and 20 home runs. That is what he's projected for. Everybody's like, yeah, well, good luck catching up in power. He has power. He has power. Like, what are you talking about? People only look at the downside and they don't see what the potential upside is. Is like, TGFBI is a free league, barring if we do some side pot challenge or whatever like we did last year. But I want to freaking win. I want to win. I want to be different. I want to take shots. And like, I know how to build a team around one player that's going to bat 250. Yeah. Guys, I can handle it. It's okay, Sorry. How was you guys' TGFBI team? I'm so selfish.
Weird like shit.
I'll tell you. I drafted Giolito, and I'm very excited about that. Freeman and Giolito were my first 2 picks. Jerry, you're in what, round 8, you said right now?
We're just closing out round 8. We're in the 11th pick of round 8, so 116th overall. I had the 10th pick overall.
Oh,
Kind of a slow league.
Oh yeah,
Lagging a little bit.
we on Monday it took us all day to go through 2 rounds.
yes, it did.
But it's picked up a little bit. There's a lot of guys like within the little DM group that we got going that are basically saying, okay, hey, you're on the clock. Cross, you're on the clock. Frank, you're on the clock. Deary, you're on the clock. So I think the longest I took was I took about 45 minutes today to make a pick. I was really going back and forth on a lot of different players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can understand that, man. I forgot to
I'm not
say.
gonna-
Go
Go ahead, Gavier. No, you go ahead. You're cute. Go ahead.
Okay. Gabe Hinkleman. Gabe Hinkleman followed the show, and I talked to him the other night. I'd never met him before, so I want to say, hey, Gabe, thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of the show. We love having you aboard. Good times. Speak.
Is that my cue?
That is your
it's right.
cue. Take it away,
Please
Yancy.
Yeah, that's basically it. TGFBI, it's lit. Thank you, Justin, for arranging it.
Yeah, been
I'm not going to
all
go into
the
like
Twitter
the
rage.
draft time. I'm not going to go into the draft time etiquette thing because like it's kind of become a bit for me. Like I like making jokes and memes and stuff about it, but I understand that people have things going on during the day. What I don't understand is like whenever you're literally online for 2 hours and that little green dot's just sitting there and you just don't make your pick, or you say like, guys, it's called a slow draft for a reason. He says it's like he's dragging his knuckles across the ground. Like, no, it's actually called a slow draft because it's very difficult to get 15 adults to all start a draft at the same time. It doesn't mean take as long as you want every single time.
Yeah.
Can you take that much time? Yes, you can. You can take that much time. But should you? No, you should not. My whole goal in life is to take up as little space as possible. I know it sounds funny because I talk so much and I don't know how to end sentences, but I try to make sure I'm that guy at the party that makes sure that like, hey, everybody's having a good time, right? Everybody's is being talked to and feels like they're being engaged with. I don't want to be that guy that like imposes his will on everybody else. And that's why like, I'm like, all right, I'm constantly thinking about my picks. I don't decide, hey, you know what should I do with my pick whenever it's on me? That's what the 4 hours are for. You should be thinking about what you want. I just said I wasn't going to do this, and here we are.
There you are.
I'm done. No more slow drafting. No more. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, shit, I got you good, you fucker.
Well, sometimes you get somebody and it feels good. I think you need to call people out when it's called for, Yancy. That's healthy.
Yeah.
It's important to have that discourse. So there's no disrespect there. I've made mistakes. You know me. We've been in a few drafts together, and I shit the bed in the draft champions we were in together because I should have set my auto. I should have known I would have been up late and I wouldn't have been up in time. But I did learn and get better at that, and I actually appreciate people getting on my case about that. So
One time is not a big deal.
autos, Mike? How many autos did you have in the Palazzo League?
on the Palazzo League?
It seemed like a handful.
Did I have a
maybe.
lot?
I think it
Well,
was
no,
about
I put
four.
it on. I put it on auto a lot on purpose because of what I was just describing. Yancy was, telling me the etiquette. I knew I wouldn't be there, so I had a big ass queue. I've gotten a lot better now at making sure the queue is full and putting it on auto if I can't be there and trusting. All right, because I was so obsessed about I have to make every pick. I have to make every pick. But if they're in my queue and I want them, just let it happen.
Yeah, they're guys you want. I mean, I'd be more frustrated with someone who doesn't set their auto at all. So, like, I'm fine if people are going to auto. If they set their queue and they're comfortable with it, go right ahead.
Yeah.
There's always that thing. Oh,
If
this jackass, he's auto picking. This jackass.
Oh,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
If there's a lesson, if there's an actual fantasy lesson in here, it's that whenever you're doing slow drafts, always have a queue.
Yep.
You think that you're good, you think you're Gucci, you think you have a ton of time. Give me the soap. But things happen. I was in a draft with Alex Chamberlain, Jessa Mason, and Sammy Reed. And guess what? Like, I got stuck with VR because I thought I was good and something happened. Next thing you know, like, my wife and I are busy doing whatever, leave it to your imagination. And all of a sudden VR is on my team in like the 15th round. And I'm so upset about it. Just completely tanked my entire, draft. But yeah,
sorry. It's not fair. I would hate for that to happen, but I don't want to get on a high horse and think I'm better than anybody. I'm clearly not. If you've listened to the show, or people know by now, we're not better than anybody, and we're going to make mistakes. And it's great to be part of TGFBI. I'm also really happy that GLARF is going on. It's at the same time. It's been pretty intense with GLARF, the Great Lakes Area Roto League, which is part of all the regional leagues that are like BARF and NERF and so on and so forth. That's been a lot of fun doing that with Derek Rhodes and Derek Van Riper and Sarah Sanchez and Janice Scurio and Dave McDonald's put it together. So shout out to him and Jake. Good people. And I've been having a lot of fun, like going back and forth with Glarf and TGFBI at the same time, so I can kind of compare, because the only difference is Glarf has OBP and quality starts as opposed to wins and average. So it's a slight variation. So
is it going to feel weird once the season starts and we're not drafting anymore? especially you, Mike, because it seems like you've been doing 2-3 drafts like every week, going back and forth, and some drafts with the slow draft taking 7-8 days, week and a half. It gets weird, and then the season starts. Like, oh man, not like the real work starts. Come on.
Well, Yancey's been drafting a ton too.
Let me introduce you to daily fantasy sports.
I'm aware.
It never stops.
I'm aware.
It never stops. My wife is so upset. She's always like, "All right, so now is it done? Is baseball done now?" I'm like, "Oh no, sweetheart, the Rays made the playoffs." And she's like, "What?" And then, like they win the ALDS, and she's like, "So now they're done, right? I see them celebrating. It's over, right?" No, honey, it's not over. They win game 2 in the World Series. I'm like ecstatic. I got friends calling me everything. Oh no, sweetie. Like, this goes to at least 4. Like, this is not going to be over.
Tell her she can have you in November and December, and that's it.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I'm not like what other sports are even going on at the time? Basketball and hockey, I guess, right? I don't play those fantasy sports.
And you want me to change?
Maybe it's time
These
to
drops, man.
We got some new ones today. This is great.
Yeah, I did some work over the last couple of days. I wanted to fill the database up. So sorry, you're going to get a little more drops than usual, Yancy. It's not cool. Anywho, so we're talking TGFBI. We're very excited about it. It's a lot of fun. For those of you that are not in TGFBI, you could be in it next year. If you write something or if you create anything at all you got to do is just create something. Or you could just be one of the lucky people that wins a satellite league or wins a random spot given away on Potapalooza. There's a lot of ways to be involved. Over 400 people this year. I think about 435 are involved. So it's 29 leagues. Winner take all of each league, and then there's an overall champion. And we'll see who that is this year in 2021. Very excited for that. Yancy, I don't think so. If you win your league, I think that would be impressive. That would be a good start.
I've won a TGFBI league already, sweetheart. Okay. So
really?
Yes.
No bullshit?
It's kind of a joke. I think people think I'm bad at fantasy, and I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not a Vlad Sedler. I'm not a bat flip crazy, but I'm also like, all I do is this. No glass now, no championship. That hurts, Sammy. By the way, shout out to Sammy. He just texted me saying that he actually has me. I don't know if it's on his iPad or whatever, but he said that his daughter Layla is seeing me for the first time, which Sammy's a good friend of mine. So Layla, hello. Layla,
Hi,
stop stepping in the dog's water and then parading all over the house. Stop doing that.
No. That's right. Oh, it's cool. Well, Sammy, nice to have you aboard. It's a pleasure. Sammy just started following me, so that's cool. Thank you, Sammy. That was nice of you to follow me on Twitter. I like to engage with new people that I don't know that well, so it's appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody. And it's great to have Yancy here, who does know fantasy baseball. So I don't think he's some loser who just, is living in South
Or think
Florida.
I'm a loser.
Or for any reason. Yeah, don't think he's a loser for any particular reason. All right, well, let's get into the mix here, and let's get into that thing we call leading off. So spring training is underway. It's pretty exciting. There's actual baseball being played. Some games are being called after like 7 innings. Some innings just end. Garrett Richards was out there the other day for the Red Sox, and like the inning, they just like said, all right, that's enough. This inning's over. And they just went on with the game and came back in the second inning, and then he hit a big jam, and then he just retired the side in the next inning. So I'm not really sure what's going on anymore with spring training.
Bet on spring training baseball?
I wouldn't do that if I were you, but
well, no, I'm asking if you
can. I'm sure you can.
Because if you can, this is really, really messing with all of that. If they're just ending innings in the middle, be like, all right, 6 innings, that's enough. Hey, there's a storm cloud coming in. Let's just end it now.
Yeah. I don't want anything to do with that. That sounds like hell on earth, but I know that there are websites. There's too many offshore sites and just too many gambling sites these days for there not to be some type of spring training lines here or there. And that's, play at your own risk. But Yancy, have you watched any of the Rays spring training or any at all?
I have a job, so I'm not just like watching the games during the day.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
No, that's just a joke.
funny.
Thank you. This is so distracting. The laugh track is something else.
I saw you on Bottom
Guys,
the other day, and you were getting so pissed every time a comment got popped up. So I'm going to do that to you too. Here you go. Hey, look.
Yeah. There is MLDFS for spring. Yes, there is, Brock. This is
terrible.
incredibly distracting because I keep seeing little pings and little notifications and stuff. It was very tilting during Potapalooza. But yes, I've followed the box scores. I see the highlights. I don't sit there and just like rail a game and watch it. Fort Myers, where I live, and my wife, we're both real estate agents down here. It's the spring training home of the Twins and the Red Sox. So it's a pretty big deal down here for spring training. It kind of doubles the time it takes to get anywhere in season. And with social distancing and stuff like that, it's really kind of more of like an idea down here. It's like an abstract thing that people consider, like they know it's out there, but like we'll let the science bear it out, kind of thing. Sure. So yeah, it's like business as usual. Tons of people coming to the games. It's great for the economy, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited to see Wander Franco hit a home run today. That was cool.
Yay!
Austin Meadows looks good. He's already done yard. So
I'm loving that. I'm loving that.
Yeah.
I've been buying the Meadows nonstop. His value is way too low. It was pushed down because of a stupid ass 2020 season that was short on opportunity and long on a waste of time, for sure. So I love it, man. Give me Meadows all day, but I bet that ADP is going to keep going up and up and up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look who's here. It's our buddy, Russell Withers, the master of Master and Commander, the greatest gifts in the history of the Palazzo Show. What's up, gents?
He wants to get a Shiner Ride the Pine now.
Oh, great. Let's go live. This is Russell Withers asking Yancy, shine or ride the pine on 500 plate appearances from Wander. I'm going to hang up and listen. Thanks, Russell.
I am going to ride the pine so hard. There is no way he gets 500 plate appearances. Not even close. Not even close. I've said this before, as I wear a ridiculous Rays hat. I am a homer. I have the Blake Snow blueprint right behind me. That thing right there, that was a gift from Nick Pollock right there. Okay, I am the 99th percentile Rays homer. The Rays do not do what you want. They don't care what you think. It doesn't matter if they piss the entire fan base off. Wander Franco should have been up last year. He should have been in the playoffs starting every single day, and he wasn't. Like, they're not, there's no way there's no universe in the multiverse where he gets 500 plate appearances. It's just not happening. There's no way.
There it is.
Mike Brasso will get 500 before him.
Brasso.
Russell, you've got your answer directly from Yancy's mouth, and this one's for you, Russell.
So it's every hand to his rope or gun?
Yes.
Quick's the word and sharp's the action.
That was for you.
After all.
Is he still talking?
Prize is on our side.
Russell, it's Russell Crowe. This is the official fantasy baseball podcast of Russell Crowe, for the record. So, in case you guys didn't know that, and that's
he doesn't know it yet, though.
No, he doesn't know, but in his heart, he does have an idea. So, Russell liked that. Yes, we are live streaming the show. For those of you that are listening in the podcast form, we are live streaming the show, which we have on YouTube and Facebook Live and Periscope, which will be gone at the end of the month, March 31st. Periscope goes bye-bye. So I don't know what'll happen there. Do you know anything about that, Yancy? Will there be like a Twitter video, or what's going to happen?
There's something like this. I've started seeing, I think I'm like a test subject because I'm also like a very heavy Twitter user because I just don't really have much of a social life outside of Twitter, to be honest with you. So every time there's like a new feature that they're testing and prototyping, it kind of shows up on my app. Like it updates overnight while I'm sleeping. And I've been seeing things like, how like the fleets popped up and that was kind of a thing. I keep seeing these little bubbles of like group video chats and like they're trying to copy Clubhouse, and which, by the way, thank you for the invite to that, Mike.
Oh yeah. How'd that go?
So I haven't used it really. I looked around. It's like,
I did the same thing. Fine. I looked around. I haven't really used it since, but I want to get into it more. I would like to be using that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk.
That's all I have. Yeah.
So go ahead. Put on some old sad bastard music. See if I care.
Okay, so yeah, spring training is underway and it's very exciting. And Deary says he hasn't really caught much action because he's been busy. Some people have lives. Mm-hmm. They're trying to do things like, provide for their family and take care of one another. So I respect that, Deary, and I understand that. But you've missed out on some fun moments here. There's stats galore. There's been a lot of big boppers. And I just want you to know, even if you missed today, you can always go to MLB.com and catch up on all the box scores and they get all the videos. So it's not like you're going to miss everything. And not every game is on television either.
There's also a part of me that let me give it a couple of weeks and then I'll see the 15 plate appearances that Willie Castro got and not freak out over the 2 home runs he hit in the first 2 days and then start drafting him in the 10th round. So I'm too impulsive and I get too excited. So I might just check out on all spring training and then just wait till the rosters are submitted and see who comes north.
Wow. Okay. I like that. Well,
I'll change it up this year.
Yeah, let's do it. I like that. Let's change things up. Let's get fresh.
Watch no baseball this year.
No baseball will be watched this year. Just
Don't
take
even
in the
watch
stats and move on with your day.
Yeah, it's just a game, right?
Well, let's give a shout out to the first catch of the day.
Good. Our first catch of the day.
This is for players that have had a wonderful stat line in spring training game. That doesn't mean anything overall, but it did happen, and it's a great catch. Take a moment and say, hey, well done. You had a good day in spring training, and they can't take it away from you. They can never, ever take it away from you. And today's guy is a catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, and I've actually never heard his name pronounced out loud, so I don't know how to say it, but it's Andrew Knizner? Knizner?
I think it's Nizer.
Is it Nizer?
Yeah, I think the K is silent.
Nisner.
Nisner?
There's it's Knizner. Andrew Nisner. Or is it Neisner? Anyways.
You should have picked a different guy.
No, look, he went 2 for 3, had a couple RBIs and scored 2 runs in a wild, crazy affair down in wherever St. Louis plays baseball, and that would be Florida because the Mets used to be in Port St. Lucie. I don't know if they're in Port St. Lucie anymore, but the Cardinals play down there as well, and the Mets went down to the Cardinals 14-9. This is a raucous offensive showdown. I guess we could have picked Kevin Pillar, who went 2 for 2, scored a couple of runs as well, leading off for the Mets. What do you think of that, Yancy? You think Kevin Pillar's stock should go up now?
I don't know if it should go up. I think he's being pretty appropriately drafted, but he's so boring, but I like having him on my team. Like when you're drafting these draft champions and stuff and you're just reaching for playing time, I think he can do much worse.
Okay.
He's going to play some. He's not going to play a ton. He's not going to light the world on fire.
It was a totally illegitimate point that I started with, and then you gave me a legit answer. Well done.
I was wondering why you were laughing. I'm like, I didn't think I made a joke, but okay.
I thought since I just mentioned his name, it already was a joke because it's Kevin Pillar. But hey, he's let off today. Who knows? Spring training, don't read into everything. Everybody was getting really anal on Monday because Xander Bogaerts had an MRI in his shoulder, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, it's over! It's over!" And I was like, "All right, hold on."
This is why I don't want to watch.
Yeah,
I don't want to pay attention. It's too consuming. Then you get on Twitter and it's like, "Oh, somebody sat out. Someone got pulled in the second inning."
Yes,
Matt Chapman hasn't played the field yet.
Yeah, we were on the TGFBI stream on Monday night talking about it because that's when the news came out about his MRI. And I'm like, it's just an MRI. I mean, they have elite medical care. It's not a big deal for them to get an MRI. And people were saying, let's maybe back away from Bogaerts that night. But you might be missing out on a guy who could still be the top 3 shortstop in all of baseball this year, fantasy-wise. Just because of one little bit of news. But at the same time, their point was, well, why would you take that risk when you could draft Corey Seager or someone else like Tim Anderson there? So, I don't know. I don't want to get too caught up in these daily freakouts. I don't know what you think about that, Yancy.
Well, I mean, you do have to pay attention a little bit. Like, Framber Valdez did, fracture a finger, and that's a pretty
real.
big deal.
That is real, yes.
Yeah.
That's a perfect point to end that on. There you go. All right, cool. Thanks. That's our catch of the day.
We could go back to Andrew Knizner and talk about how he's 561 ADP.
How about that? Andrew Knizner. I want to ask you guys real quickly about, AAA, where they play AAA baseball. Sometimes it's called Quad A, or in-between point between being a great player and a decent player. Mike Hessman was a legendary Toledo Mud Hen and very, very part-time Detroit Tiger. He's the all-time career leader in minor league home runs, and he was a classic Quad A guy, Not quite good enough for the majors, but wasn't terrible. But there will be no AAA for at least a month. It's been delayed, so that's out the window. And we don't know if it'll get delayed even longer. There will be alternate sites. That's official and confirmed. So I wonder, Yancy, how do you feel about this? Does this impact your fantasy decisions in any way?
I mean, I really haven't given it much thought. I kind of feel like a Deary in this stance. Like it's news to me. I guess I don't really have much.
Deary in the headlights. I've never used that one either.
That's a new one.
That is a new one. I've never used that.
I'm beginning to realize that none of these are new ones, are they?
No, they are.
That one's new. I've never heard that. I've known Mike 18 years. I've never heard this one.
We've had 2 in one show. I'm not shitting you. This is cray cray.
This is cray.
And I just said cray cray.
Cut that out, please.
That's live. I can't take that one back. Anyway, so okay, nobody cares. AAA, who cares? Yeah.
I'm not an expert. Like I don't really understand like how they're going to do this. It's going to suck for like prospect Twitter because like what are they going to base their lists off of? What are they going to fight about? By the way, prospect Twitter, what is up with you guys the last couple of months, man? It's like every day, like they're fighting about something. I just don't understand.
Oh, is someone upset about something?
I don't know. Apparently they all are. there's like a lot of infighting. There's a lot of infighting on prospect Twitter. Like even Ralph Lifshitz like was tweeting like, yeah, like we're kind of like what's going on here? Like a lot of drama, a lot of stuff going on.
Is there a particular player they're arguing about, or is it like an overall dilemma? What's the story?
I think it's more of like the distillation of information and how they present themselves and people using other people's sources and information for their own. Honestly, I don't even know. And I don't want to stir the pot even more, but thank you for that. You guys can't see who are just listening audio only, but Mike is actually stirring the pot. Thank you.
It's a classic stew and huff,
Yeah.
You stew it and you huff it. That's what we used to do when we were younger. So, but when
Deary,
I think of prospects,
Mike, you still do this. I've known Mike a while. I don't know, 15,
each other for
16, 17 years, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet? What's your love story?
Well, we kind of met once upon a time in Kalamazoo in like 2002, but we really met probably August 05, 06, and then when Deary moved in with me and a couple of guys in Ann Arbor. So that's when it really started.
Yeah, I met some high school friends of his when I was out at college at Western Michigan. So that's kind of how the connection was made. And then I think it was 06, I moved to Ann Arbor and ended up moving in with you. I think we had run around town in Ann Arbor or in Kalamazoo a couple times, but I don't think we really talked very much.
No.
I think we knew of each other and then we moved in together.
There it is. That's how it all started. We share the same birthday, same day, same year, same month, same moment. We were born the same day. Well,
really?
Not the same day. Yeah, we were.
It's very odd.
We literally were.
When's your birthday?
August 22nd.
It's kind of a boring birthday.
What? Come on.
It's awesome.
Right at the end of summer, there's always a baseball game to go to. There's always like some outdoor concert. Come on. Like it's the best time to have a birthday in Michigan.
We've had a lot of great birthday experiences. So
I told you guys, you have to keep it. We got to keep it moving. I'll do this all night. And next thing you know, it's like 12 o'clock and we're on like the second segment.
Well, that'll shut you up. How about that? Well, you're talking prospects. I figure I got to fire up the power of prospects. But yes, power of prospects is important, but don't get too caught up in your drafts on prospects. Unless you're in a dynasty or keeper league, then you probably want to get a little bit more caught up. But you're going to get tantalized by the Kalenic homer and the Wander Franker homer that we've seen over the last 48 hours. That's going to get you guys fired up. I know it's going to make you crazy, but don't get overly aggressive on prospects. That's my little note to everybody. Just listen to the lyrics. They say everything, don't they? See? Don't fall for it. It is cruel. But it might just save your life. That's the power of prospects. That's right.
See, Mike, if we could get in Doc Brown's time machine and go back to the 80s, I'm pretty sure you would have a gig on every single 80s sitcom just writing the dumbass jingles. You would fit right in it.
Yeah, man, those days are over. I really wish they were still here.
They don't exist anymore.
They don't. I will tell you this, though. So the AAA thing, it's something to keep an eye on with the alternate sites. That's something they did last year, so there's going to be some familiarity there. But players going back and forth, who those players will be, the taxi squads, different than AA and single A, which are supposed to start on their own timeline still, I think May 5th. So keep an eye on all that. Just be aware of it. When it comes to prospects, I'm going to go back to what Michael Richards said, who's our prospect guru at rotofanatic.com, by the way. This is also part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. In case you guys didn't know, I got the Roto Fanatic shirt on for those of you on the live stream. Michael Richards is our prospect guru, and he said on this show about 6 weeks ago that a lot of young players could make an impact this year because they actually got some quality experience of those alternate sites. Even though we don't have the video, we weren't there personally to see it. From what he has gathered, and he's pretty damn good with prospects, I will say that. That's what he thinks. He thinks there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be called up, younger guys, and they will make an impact on baseball teams this season. What that impact will be, I don't know, but he's expecting a lot of call-ups and surprising ones too. So stay tuned on that and just be prepared for something like that if you're playing in a league where you can pounce on prospects and they can provide you some type of, I don't know, maybe a week. You know, if it's a head-to-head league and you pick up a guy that can stream and to your benefit, and you can have an NA spot to send him back to if you play in a Yahoo league, that's great. But I think it's important. I think it's something you need to be aware of, and we all should keep in mind.
So Wander Franco, 500 plate appearances confirmed.
No, I didn't say that. What the fuck?
Not with Tampa. You already said it, Yance. It's not going to happen with Tampa.
I want to believe. I want that. I want that tomorrow.
Well, we all want to believe. We do. But anyways, that's just something to think about, everybody. Don't forget, stay close to home. Keep your eyes on the prize as we move into regular season. It's getting close here. It's March. Spring's right around the corner. I'm very excited. And the rotofanatic.com has a lot of fun stuff for you. So make sure you head on over there. Check out the Data Monster. It's a great tool to help you learn. It's got really good stuff on plate discipline and prospect outcomes. Paul Mamino's put a lot of hard work into it. And our guy Crosby Spencer has expected stats and projections that will be up on the site. It's going to be awesome. And he's going to be on the show next week, him and Paul together. And we'll talk much, much more about that. Enough of that bullshit, though. It's time for Yancy to step into the ring. It's time for Enrico's Inquisition. Are you ready, Yancy?
I am extremely ready. Yes, let's do this.
Woohoo! Would you prefer to deal with a manipulative person or a callous person?
Wow, this is deep into my psyche.
Alan Trammell or Lou Whitaker?
Oh, I knew you were going to hit me with that.
The 1988 Dodgers or the 2020 Dodgers?
Oh, the 1988. By far. It was the happiest moment of my sports life. That was my first gut moment.
Nelly, get ready for some doozies, because it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, Enrico's Inquisition.
That is correct, sir. Yancy Eaton, you are now stepping into Enrico's Inquisition. All bets are off. All sales are final. I'm really excited to have you aboard for this segment because you're a fun guy. So I'm expecting we're going to get some interesting responses, maybe some stuff, some talking points that we can jump off of and take our conversation to another level.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. Yeah, I said yes.
No, it's not good enough. No, it's fine. All right, real simple. Let's start here. Do you prefer Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic Ocean?
Gulf of Mexico. Easy. It's warm. A lot of sharks. Shark teeth collecting, if that's your thing.
Is that you?
I'm biased. I'm trying to sell real estate on the Gulf of Mexico, okay? So, yeah, I'm a little biased. All right. Hell
well,
yeah, Gulf of Mexico all the way. Yeah.
I've never seen shark teeth in person, I don't believe. Have you, dearie?
No.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Not
I
yet.
assume they look like teeth. Are they long, big, or are they smaller?
I can't tell if these are inside jokes or if you guys are clowning me.
No, that's like a real question. Like he's really asking you.
We live in Michigan. We don't have sharks. We have trout.
He's being actually really inquisitive about it.
I was like, did Deary actually get bitten by a shark before or something? Like, what is the...
No.
I don't know, Deary. Have you ever seen shark teeth? Like,
look, we live in Michigan where it's like perch and trout and lake fish. We don't have sharks, so that's not our thing. That's why we defer to you, the shark expert.
Okay, that's a stretch.
Well, okay, that was a stretch. I'll give you that. But yeah, we don't know much about sharks here.
This is the most, I'm saying this as a compliment. This is the most unsettled I have ever been on a podcast. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what transition to give you. I don't know if you want more, if you want less. What do you want? Tell me what you want.
Let's just relax. Let's just breathe.
And Deary's so used to it too. He's like, yeah, this is like normal. Like this is, look at him. He no cares. He's just, yeah, whatever. This is Govier. This is it.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, we're friends. We've known each other for a long time. It's easy for us. This is just a Wednesday night for us.
Yeah.
Just pretend that we're in your living room, shooting shit, We're talking about stuff. We're not even talking about baseball right now. We're talking about sharks. We're talking about water. We could talk about flowers or, I don't know, stocks. You want to talk about Dow Jones?
We can talk about Top Shots, NBA Top Shots, if you guys want to.
Yeah, so what is that? Those are videos that people pay really big money for, but they're not.
We're not going to talk about Top Shots.
Let's not deep dive into this because this podcast will go 4 hours. I just learned of this the other day, and I'm massively confused and a little intrigued.
You're confused.
Yeah,
okay,
let's keep the train moving. I shouldn't have even said anything. My B.
Well, I've seen him online though, and I've seen this guy who's like really pushing him and shit too. So it's not like totally foreign to me, but I'm still kind of confused. But I am curious. I am somewhat curious. Oh, by the way, trading cards. Are you into those? Were you into those as a kid?
I was never into them. I told this story a while ago. I did a Twitter thread. My great grandfather used to be an insane baseball collector and baseball card collector, and he used to have just incredibly rare, super valuable ones. He would have like wedding and anniversary presents where he would just give people like a single card, and like they would go like have a honeymoon or whatever. Like it was a big deal. Whenever he passed away, the card collection was handed off to my grandfather, who has nothing to do with baseball cards whatsoever. A few years ago, he was really kind of in a financial bind, and I didn't know anything about baseball cards, but I knew he needed money. And so I offered to buy them from him just as a way to kind of like get cash in his hand. And so now I have boxes and boxes and boxes of baseball cards that I don't know anything about. And I mean, most of them are from, the 70s and the 80s. So I don't think they're worth a whole hell of a lot, but I'm dying to start that process at some point whenever I find, literally dozens of hours of free time out of nowhere to go sort through them. So I don't know anything about baseball cards, but I want to, and I own probably more than most people listening to this do, unfortunately.
I got a bunch of Cal Ripken cards here. This is fun.
Is that good?
Oh, there's a Ripken rookie in there. It's not like a gem mint 10 or anything like that, but it's probably like a 7 or 8.
That's card lingo, dear. You just casually threw down some gem mint 10.
I think I have every top set from 77 to 98. 98 or 99.
Go pick up a Beckett at the store.
Yeah, there we go. I used to do that back in like 91, 92.
Get that Beckett. Everything.
See how much that McGuire USA card is worth.
That's a great point, Locher 88. Well done. I used to love Beckett. God, I would go through that and scour every value. I'd always see what's the most expensive card in this section this year. And God, does Beckett still exist? I wonder if it still exists.
It's online. It's online now.
Oh, it's all online? Okay. Yeah. Well, one thing I do know is that there are some value in cards, and more than ever, the card market is back in business for some reason. I think COVID has something to do with that. People are bored, or they're stuck at home, or they're desperate. They need money too. There's people who are struggling financially because of this COVID situation.
They've created more scarcity and like more of the sets that they put out in the last few years. So there's like 4 or 5 different types of sets and autograph cards, and it was actually a really smart thing to do. And then COVID hit, and like everybody got back into it. So now it's just booming through the roof again.
Yeah, booming. What's the best movie with Rachel McAdams in it, Yancy?
Wait, is Yancy like a Mcadams fan? Is this where this comes from?
Oh yeah.
Deary, have you seen my Twitter feed? Like
Clearly
at
not.
all? You know what? Honestly, I haven't seen.
What up, Roof? Sorry.
Oh, Tim Roofer.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Tim Roofer in the house.
It looks like it's pronounced Ruffer.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, we know Tim. I went to high school with Tim, so I know it's Roofer for sure, but it does look like Ruffer. You're right. If you didn't know any better, you would probably say Tim Ruffer. Yeah.
Well, okay then. Well, didn't know he was a friend of yours. Okay,
let's get back to Rachel McAdams.
Great basketball player. He got a great 3-point shot. He's classic. He's like Sam Perkins. It's fantastic.
I mean, the chalk pick for the Rachel McAdams movies, I haven't seen them all, but it's probably The Notebook. It's just so iconic. It's such a great movie. It's so sad too. It is so painfully sad at the end. Ugh, good God. Unbelievable. Very talented actress, but apparently she has like some very, very interesting, questionable views on things such as vaccines. And again, I'll let your imagination run with what that means. But sometimes you just don't want to learn more about people. You just want to not really delve too much into their personal tastes and how they feel and think about the world.
Yeah, that's too bad. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. Sometimes
me
people
too.
think, they think things and everything seems like it's a lie and it's just all
This is such a crock of shit.
but in the end, we're all entitled to our opinions, and I do respect that about this country. So the Notebook is the winner. Oh, Tim has given us a lot of info. There it is, yes. So the E is silent in Ruffer. Roofer. Anyways, if you're listening to the podcast version, you have no idea what we're talking about. These are live stream comments, which you can interact with if you want to see us live and talk with us live in real time with me and Deary and our guest, who today is Yancy Eaton. Then you could do so by going to our YouTube page or our Facebook page, which has Facebook Live. Anytime, you can also watch the old version of these videos on our YouTube channel. We'd love to have a subscription if you wouldn't mind. That's always a bonus. Zytor's in the house. My man, Richard Zito. What up, Rich? Woo! This guy... He's great. He wanted. We did a draft recently, and he asked me straight up in the draft lobby, "Hey, let's go halvesies on a main event." And I was like, "Whoa, that is a big commitment. That's not something you just don't throw that around." The main event for the NFBC is $1,700, I think. Yancy.
1,700. Yep.
Yeah. So that we'd split it $850 a piece. And I don't know Richard that well. Although I've sent him a Roto Fanatic shirt, I do know his mailing address, but I don't know.
Well,
him
so
that
you know him really well. Then, if you send him a T-shirt, I mean, you guys are basically It's like you and Deary, lifelong friends.
I don't have a Roto Fanatic shirt. What's going on here?
They're right here, man. Just come on by. No one. You never been to my house. Come find out if it's real.
It's a mystery. Where do you live?
Yeah, people still don't think it's real. This house I live in. I only live like 20 minutes from Deary, but it's real. It's a real place. It's really out there.
One day we'll hang out again.
Richard's still waiting on the DM. Yes, I understand, Richard. It's a big commitment. Even half of a main event is a hell of a commitment. $850 it's a tall order for a guy without a job. I will say that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think, is there a deadline on the main event? I mean, it's March now, so it's probably coming to a head. I'll have to check on that.
I'm sure there is definitely a deadline. So like before the season starts,
Regardless, I'm a fan of you, Zytor. It's a great name. Richard Zytor, Zito, woohoo! Let's get back to Yancy. Yancy, curveballs or sliders?
I think curveballs look cooler. I've never really played baseball, so I don't know which one is more difficult or which one's more difficult to hit. I don't know, but I think curveballs look cool.
That's a different answer. I like that. It's refreshing.
I'm going to do a bunch of personality mirroring. They teach you this in sales, where you just try to identify as quickly as possible, like whoever you have on the phone or at like a meeting, face to face. You try to mirror all of their tendencies and everything, and it makes you appear more likable to them. They're like, "Hey, I like that guy because he's like me," and it validates that you're smart and good because that guy is too. I'm just going to start doing that, Govier. Every time you go like this, I'm going,
Well, how about that?
Oh man, this is by the way, if you guys are listening to this via audio only, definitely go check out the YouTube channel and see see what you're missing. I feel like I'm pretty even keeled. Deary's here just chilling out, but Michael's really got a lot going on tonight. It's really
Why real estate?
Oh, gosh. I used to work at a major brick and mortar retailer for the first 12 years of my adult life. And whenever I turned 30, my wife and I started making a bunch of plans to do something different and something together. We've lived in this area our entire lives. My family has been here for 3 generations. And I mean, basically, like, I don't like having a boss. I realized that about 2 months into my 12-year career at my last job, I don't like having bosses and I don't like having to answer to people. So it was a way for us to, do something that we love. I love real estate. I love working with my wife. I have a dog that's getting older. I love being there every single day for him. And, I don't like having my schedule dictated to me. I think you guys can respect that. Like, it's nice being able to decide when I come and go. And I have a no asshole rule. Like, I do not work with people that I do not want to work with. And I could never do that in a corporate setting. You're constantly being told to kowtow and say the things that you need to say. And the customer's always right. And in the real world, like the customer is actually not always right. And you can decide who you want to work with.
That's true. Yeah. I got a lot of...
Or are you laughing? I'm dead serious.
It's just, yeah.
I'm just trying to like disarm
strange.
you.
Deary knows what it's like. Deary has boss. We all have, we all have bosses here and there. And
bosses suck. bosses honestly suck. If you guys are working,
bosses can help you grow and advance and expand your horizons.
I tell you what,
stunt your growth.
It's worse being a boss for other people. Being a boss for yourself is great. I enjoy my boss, but being a boss of other people, specifically when they're college kids or high school kids, it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
I did it. I did it for 9 out of the 12 years that I worked at my last employer, and I was in charge of big teams, small teams, people straight out of high school, sometimes minors, retirees who, varying levels of ambition, right? Where like this is never going to be a career for you. You do not care about this job at all. It is literally just about a paycheck. It's a part-time thing or it's a temporary thing. You're in between jobs, whatever. And trying to make people like that care. I say like that. I just mean like in that type of situation, which I totally understand. Like I've had jobs where I did not care about them, and you're trying to make me, stress out and take work home with me and not compartmentalize, all the stresses of work. Like, no, like I want work to end whenever I punch out. And that was one of the things that I really struggled with, like the entire time I was working there was, I just never stopped working. I never stopped worrying about it. I was going in, on my days off and calling and texting and just I don't want to do that anymore. And so I didn't.
Yeah. Bosses can be real negative too,
We're going to get all in your face and point out your faults.
It's kind of a bummer. They can really bum you out, man. But
yeah.
At the same time, you just reminded me of why I didn't want to teach anymore because of some of those constrictions that you're mentioning. Teaching was cool, but there was too much bullshit. Taking home work, grading is the worst. We had Jason Cuffs on, who apparently there's a story there between you and him, but I'll leave that out for now.
Yeah, he blocked me. That's the story. There's no other story. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's it. That is the story.
There was some misunderstanding or something on Twitter, but in the past couple of years, I've been pretty quick to block people. So maybe he said something and I misconstrued it and just blocked the hell out of him.
Well, at least you're honest and direct, and that's why I love you. You're the best. I really dig that. But I will say that grading, as he said, it sucks. Grading's the worst, and that was one of the biggest bummers about being a teacher, and I don't miss any of that at all. We got a live question here from our boy, Tim Roofdog. Tim wants to know, Yancy, we're going live on a question. 12-team keeper league, are you okay with Gregorius and Ketel Marte as your second and shortstop? Or should I trade Jordan Alvarez for my loaded outfield for another infielder? So basically, are you cool with Didi and Ketel as your middle infield? Looks like a keeper league.
I am super in on Ketel Marte bouncing back in a major, major way. I don't know if he specified if this was a points league or a rotisserie league. But
I can give you all the dynamics of this league because it's the league that I run.
Well, okay, perfect.
There's the guy to talk to.
Yeah, what do you want to know about Tim's team here? Let's bring it up, Tim. Right, we're talking about long balls here, right, Tim? That's your team name.
Long ball, Larry?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a head-to-head league. We do runs, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, average, and OPS.
Ah, okay. So Didi,
I'm more than fine with Didi. I like that he signed where he signed. I like the park. I think he's about as safe of a player as you can get. He's going to play every single day. I don't know how much he's going to steal, but you said it's a head-to-head category, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Ketel Marte is one of the most underdrafted players right now. I know this is a keeper league, so that doesn't really, fall in line with there. But I think that public sentiment around Ketel Marte is much lower than it should be. I think he's going to absolutely smash this year, and he's the biggest value. That was one of my like the dilemmas that I faced in the draft for TGFBI was I was trying to decide between Eugenio Suarez and Ketel Marte, and ultimately I decided with Suarez just because I already had Mondesi, so it's kind of overkill at that point. But I think Ketel Marte is a special player in all seriousness. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. He's going to look more like 2019 versus 2020 Ketel Marte.
Yeah, he stung the ball. Only thing I'm wondering is will the steals be there? That's my only concern. I believe he can hit. I'm not so worried about that, but I just wonder if we can get 10 to 15 steals out of him. But what the other part?
Tim's team here, lots of power. He's going to lack in stolen bases. He's got really nice staff and a good bullpen. So you're pretty good there, Tim. I'd stick with Gregorius and Ketel with what else you got. Maybe try to ship off. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe if you can get something for Max Kepler.
Is this technically like collusion if you're the commissioner and you're giving him advice on his team?
No,
is that collusion?
No, now that everyone in my league knows I run I'm on a podcast, I get questions every day. I'm like, dude, I don't know anything more than you guys. If anything, I give some like help. Like relief pitching is massive in our league because we do K per 9 and holds, and there's about half our league that I'm booting relief pitching down the road. I'm like, dude, all you need is 2 stud pitchers and then roster bullpens everywhere. Yeah. Tim, you get it.
Butt loving. Did he say funky butt loving?
Oh. I gotta tell you, what about the Jordan Alvarez part though? Would you trade him, or if you had him as a keeper, would you say, "Oh, I'm happy, I got Jordan. I'm happy"?
No.
You're concerned.
I feel like I've said this multiple times on podcasts so far this offseason.
I'm sorry, I haven't listened to every pod you're on. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable. Degenerative knee conditions at his age don't regenerate. They don't get better, and this is going to be an ongoing issue. He's going to be like Ohtani, where it's like, yeah, whenever he plays, his production per plate appearance is amazing, but you're going to have all of these like phantom, I don't want to say IL stints, but like, oh, we're managing his workload. You're going to hear that, 10, 15 times this year where you set your lineup and then it's past locked where you could have swapped him out and he's not playing on Monday because, we decided to give him off, on Monday, or it's a Sunday and, it's a getaway game. They have to travel. So, we went ahead and gave them Sunday off too. And I just think it's going to be a mess. And I think the plate appearances are not going to be there like people think they are.
500 plus plate appearances, Yancy, or under?
I think I have them at like 440, 450. Yeah. When I say me, it's not like I do my own projections, but people that I trust, that's kind of where they pegged him. So if he gets 500, he's going to mash. But even still at 500, like, is he going to get you the runs that you need for that spot? Is he going to, it's just from a counting standpoint, like he's basically, he's being treated like a full-time player. And I don't think at the end of the year, it's going to look like he's a full-time player.
There it is, directly from his mouth. Yancy Eaton speaks. I love it. We love it. I need that drop. We love it.
Randy Newman.
Love LA. Yeah, we love it. That's part of the Enrico Palazzo. The Hey, it's Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Don't forget, Palazzo Podcast on Twitter, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah, give me 2.
Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. Yancy, music-wise,
Mikey.
We haven't even covered some of the music here. So, do you prefer Metallica or Megadeth?
Metallica.
Huh.
Metallica, easy.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
Metallica is like one of the few examples of like it is the most common pick, right, for like metal bands, and from an influence standpoint, like it's just bar none. Like they're not the most original band ever, and they take a lot of elements of other existing bands, but they just do it so well from an implementation standpoint and from a longevity standpoint. I mean, like Saint Anger sucks, right? Like they have a couple of albums that are pretty bad. But
fuck.
It's really bad.
Forgot about that.
I mean, they're such an iconic, just unbelievably, remarkably consistent band. I mean, in the range too, it's not just thrash music. Like they've done. I don't even think it's a question, to be honest with you. I think Megadeth is it's so much more of an acquired taste, and I know a lot of people who are very big into metal and they're not gigantic Megadeth fans.
Dave Mustaine.
That Dave Mustaine voice is just, oh god, that gets to
Hello, me. It's me again.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, pretty good.
It makes me laugh. It's so stupid. That's interesting. What's the best Frank Ocean song ever?
Probably White Ferrari, or I'm kind of impartial to In My Room. Man, this is really tough. Guys, if you're not on the Frank Ocean like bandwagon, hop on it, because there's still plenty of room. For some reason, he's not nearly as big as he should be. And he's a big artist. I'm not saying that he's not, but
yeah, I know
literally
one
of the most talented contemporary artists like of the last 20 years. And he's kind of, I mean, like he should be Taylor Swift level, and he's not. But just an amazing songwriter. All the compositions on every single one of his songs is just amazing. Go listen to Channel Orange. I think in the last, I keep track of all my listening stats on last.fm for years. So everything that I listen to, genres, albums, songs, everything is recorded. I'm like really crazy about it. And I've listened to Channel Orange by Frank Ocean hundreds of times end to end, and for the last 4 or 5 years. It is a perfect album. You got me fired up, Mikey. This is great. I love
Tim's
Frank
all
Ocean.
about Billy Ocean, not Frank.
Yeah.
Get out of my dreams.
Get into my car. Oh, I'm more of a Caribbean Queen guy.
Caribbean Queen. That's a good one. Frank Ocean is underrated, and he's not publicized enough for how good he is. It's kind of a mystery to some people still. There's probably a lot of people who don't even know who he is still, which is strange because he lies somewhere in between this popular mainstreamish sound with this like indie sound, and he's also, I think he's kind of like likes to be out of the spotlights. He's not big on like pushing himself out there either, so it's intriguing. His music's fascinating. It's not quite anything in particular too. It's not like
it's not
rap,
pop,
it's not
not
soul,
R&B,
it's not hip hop.
it's not,
it's
exactly.
Strange.
Yeah, he's an enigma. I've been following his career for a long time, like the stuff he did with Odd Future, and I just think he's really talented. If there's one takeaway from this show, which I know it was a lot of nonsense on this show, this is kind of it's kind of how it is. Not nonsense in a bad way, you know what I mean? Like we're just having fun. But if there's one takeaway show, go listen to Frank Ocean, listen to Channel Orange. It's amazing.
Oh, look at his frozen face. Is his face frozen? Anyone else? That was so weird. I wish we could have took a picture of that. That was awesome. Damn it. Someone should screenshot of that. Oh, it's live. We can go get this later.
We go back it up and make it the new profile pic.
Your face was frozen like this.
Like, Pod. It was great.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait to see those screenshots. Awesome.
It was awesome.
That's fine. No, Yancy, you were telling us how clear your face is today, so it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, I am actually. I'm feeling very good today, guys. Very, very.
You look
good.
great. Yeah, you don't look as sunny as I think you should. You should be more tan, but.
I don't know if you're aware, but there's a virus. So not really like going out a lot.
This doesn't get yeah.
You live in Florida. They don't give a shit down there. Only you care.
It doesn't mean that the virus doesn't exist though.
So you care.
I do care. I do care.
Good.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
I do
We're
care.
proud of you.
Not just about myself, dearie. I also care about other people. And I know that's kind of uncommon these days. You know, it's all about like, you know, F your feelings kind of thing. But I actually care about other people. I know that's kind of crazy.
I live in Ann Arbor. Like everywhere you go, there's there's people running down the street in 60-degree weather with a mask on. So like everybody is very, very aware. I live in probably one of the most liberal, progressive towns in the country.
I don't give a damn who you are.
In the end, wear a mask. It's important. Yes. If you got the vaccine, that's great too. Congratulations for anybody who's got the vaccine today. Really happy for you.
Round 2 on Friday for me.
Hey, congratulations, dearie. Round 2, shots galore.
I work with kids, so I get to get a vaccine.
Yeah,
I am nowhere close on that list. Living in Florida,
we have real estate. You're way down there.
We have a gigantic senior citizen population, right? And it might be years before they all get vaccinated. So
there'll be a new pandemic by the time you can get vaccinated.
Yeah, we're bottom of the barrel.
Yes,
yeah, I don't. Just take your spot and accept where it. You're still a young, strapping, healthy man with a lovely wife. You live in the dream down there in Florida. You guys have any kids?
Just my dog. Does that count? I know that's some people think that's like extremely offensive when I say that.
They do. Parents
like,
would be so pissed right now.
Yeah. No, I don't have any children.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool. I love dogs. I wish I had a dog, but they do take work and they cost money. Veterinary bills can add up, and I want to make sure that I can provide properly, just like I would a child. It's important. Dogs are not cats.
You used to have a bird, Mike.
Yeah, I had the bird, old Binkler. He was the best. I miss Binkler. I wonder what he's doing right now.
When Mike and I were living together, this was probably 2007 or 2008, he came home with a bird one day.
This is so fitting. If I had to guess, like, hey, guess what I've had in the past? I would say, like, gerbils would be, like, the 1-1, easy.
No, I've never
right?
had gerbils. Never had gerbils.
Ferrets. You've had a ferret.
No, never
Don't
had a
lie,
ferret.
Mike.
You bought
You
bought that dumb bird.
That was the dumbest thing I ever did. Yeah, I was buying the
like,
bird.
dude, look, I got this bird. You used to talk to it, and it would fly around the house and scare the shit out of all the guests that we would have come over.
Yes. It would hide. The best one was that time that Hill got freaked out when it came out of nowhere from the lamp. That was the best one. Because it was one of those lamps, like the tall lamps with like the half bowl shaped thing. So a bird could be down in it. And it'd been in there for probably like an hour and a half. And one of our friends just forgot. He got stoned and time went by. And next thing you know, the bird just took off out of there, flying across the room. And it flipped him out. And he's like, oh shit. We're like playing video games. He was terrified. It was so funny. It was a good one. Oh, you had to be there, I swear. It was even funnier in person. So. It was. You would have laughed. If you were there, I swear you guys, you all would have laughed. But maybe
I was there. I still laugh about it.
Yeah, this was so dumb. I went out for some food and I came home with a bird. It was a big mistake. I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend going to the store and then just coming home with a bird on a whim. But
yeah, because you realized it was going to live for like 25 years.
Yeah,
you got rid of it.
Yes. Well, I had it for 4 years, and I gave it a good home. I want everyone to know that. It got a veterinarian's assistant took the bird, and I hope Binkler lived a good life. I don't know where Binkler is today. Binkler's probably alive somewhere.
Binkler.
Right, yeah, that was... I never really settled on a name. It was like Bird, Buddy, Binkler. It was all B's, the letter B. I don't know why.
Bing, bing.
Bing, bing. Yeah, bum, bum. Yeah, something like that. So
okay.
Are we on?
I swear this is a fantasy baseball podcast.
What day is this?
I said, coffee!
Spice things up here with some coffee. Okay, I think, we covered a lot of dumb stuff in this section. This is not even... We didn't even cover enough that I wanted to. I wanted to ask about other stuff, but we got to move on.
Well, let's do a lightning round. Lightning round. I promise I'll be fast. Let's go.
Okay.
I won't
promise
say a
you'll
word.
be fast.
I'll turn my mic off.
Yeah. No. Come on. We're all part of the show. We're in this together. It's important, and I think that matters. So, Blink-182 or Green Day?
Blink-182. Easy.
McDonald's or Taco Bell?
Taco Bell, but they're both dog shit.
Yes, that is correct. And you should not eat either. I don't know. That was dumb.
Ask me love or money.
No, we'll get there.
That ends
Okay,
it.
all right,
No,
all right,
we
all
want to
right,
know
all right.
more about
That's the
you.
last one. That's always the last one. Sitting or standing?
I like to sit. I have back problems, so.
Well, wouldn't it be better?
Also,
for
I'm
you if you
It's probably from sitting.
Yeah, too much. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
You get that standing desk.
Drums or guitar?
Drums, easy. I play drums.
Hey, all right. Where's your drum set?
Yeah. I'm losing my hearing, so my wife sold it.
Is it that bad that you're losing your hearing?
I mean, yeah, like I had to go to like an audiologist and stuff whenever I was like in my early 20s.
Oh shit!
I've been playing since middle school, competitively in college, everything. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
Competitive drumming.
Yeah, were you in a drum line?
I was.
You were.
I was in drumline, indoor drumline, marching band, jazz band, concert band. I did solo performances and competitions. Yeah, I was like 99th percentile. I keep using that word, like band nerd, like unbelievably into it. I was that kid that was always had like drumsticks and stuff. I was like a really weird, dorky, awkward kid, much like I am as an adult, by the way. So that's always fun.
Holy cow, dude! I would never have guessed that. I had no idea. That's amazing. God, I love the drums. I got a drum set right over here. It's right next to me. It's in the next room. So
dope.
Always a fan of the drums, and I used to play French horn before I played drums. That's where it all started back in band. I was a French hornist first because they made me do it. Because they needed someone to play French horn. So that was what I first started on in middle school.
Interesting.
Yeah. You had to put your hand in the hole. Like,
I know, and then you have like this like warm, like sweaty, gross feeling hand. Yeah.
It was weird. And then, God, and the thing about brass instruments, nobody ever talks about this, is the spit. You have to like drain the spit out. Oh, it's so gross. Yeah, because you're blowing in this thing, you're blowing in, and all the spit accrues, and there's like this little valve that you release all the spit and like get rid of it all. It's very gross. But anybody who's played a brass instrument probably knows what I'm talking about. It's a sick world out there. I'm just living in it. Survivor or Master and Commander?
I'm going to say Survivor because I used to watch it whenever I was a kid. I saw like season 1 and season 2 back whenever everybody watched it. It was like a big deal. So like, I can remember some of like the original cast members, you know, like Rich Hatch and Colleen and Jenna. And like, I was literally like 11 years old or, 10, 11 years old. I remember this, like thinking it was just like the coolest show ever. And then you kind of hear about like, it's kind of fake, like it's not really like, oh, you're on your own. Like apparently they're like feeding them and all this stuff. But I honestly, I haven't seen the Master and Commander, but I probably should.
It's just so dumb. Yeah. It's just funny to laugh at now. I just love Russell's gifts. Russell's gifts are the best thing that ever happened to the show, bar none. Thank you, Russell. We appreciate that. And don't forget, Russell's has his own handle at Armchair Roto, and he has his own website with great articles. He has some really good stuff about draft strategy, so go check that out at Armchair Roto on Twitter, please. Russell's a good guy. All right, I don't care about any of this stuff anymore. Let's just get to it. For love or money?
Do I go?
Now you can speak.
I mean, this is such a boring answer, but yeah, man, it's love, right? It's got to be love. I say this is somebody who in what did it say? State the second, the third,
March 3rd, 2021.
In 17 days, I will have been married to my wife for exactly 10 years, which is a very, very big deal. It has been difficult, but also extremely worth it. I love my wife very much. I've told this story before, but like I got married extremely fast whenever I met her, like extremely fast. Like and everybody thought we were crazy. Like I asked her to be my girlfriend on October 6th of 2010, and we were married March 20th of 2011, and like got a house and stuff. Yeah, it was a very, very quick turnaround, but yeah, it's yeah.
Oh,
but I'm very much like a romantic. She's like, interestingly enough, she is very almost like I don't want to say hard. That's not like the word for it, but she.
I married a hard girl.
She's the type of person where like when we're in public, like she doesn't give a damn about like anything. Like she doesn't listen to like my podcast. She doesn't watch my live streams. Like she doesn't care. Like she doesn't. That stuff does not matter to her at all. She's beautiful. She's like one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my entire life, and does not care to flaunt it or to show it. She does not care for attention. She wants attention from one person, and that's me. And it's like the strangest thing ever that like the two of us got together, but we're such a perfect match. So like, yeah, that's a long way of saying it's love for me. It's not even close.
That's beautiful.
Money's dope too, though. I will say that. Am I right, guys?
That's all right.
Everybody always throws that in there. Yes. At least you're admitting that money is somewhat, on your mind. But
it makes it easier.
Man. You're a passionate lover, and I love that. That's what I dig about you. You have a great, great marriage with your lovely wife. Shout out to Malika. I'm sorry. I used to know Michaela when I was younger. Michaela Vernier. I don't know if she's out there. Michaela? You out there? But
Michaela's are always a mess.
You just shouted out some random girl that you went to school with. Or...
Tim Roofer would know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Tim. Remember Michaela? Yeah, she was tall. She's a tall lady.
It's Rufe, by the way. He said the R is silent.
That's right. By the way, Deary, did you ever face Drew Henson?
Yeah,
That's
I did.
A question for you.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. I struck out 3 times and popped up to the third baseman as a hitter, and then I pitched against him several times. The famous story of me pitching against him was in the 98 district championship. We're already getting murdered by them. And the previous inning, he broke the national RBI record or the home run record. So next time he came up, everybody was cheering for him and everything. And I was on the mound. So I started tipping my cap like they were cheering for me. And then he hit a rocket.
God.
He hit a rocket off the kneecap of our third baseman. And then we had to like pull our third baseman out. So he never hit a home run off me. He had a couple of hits off me, but that was about it.
Henson he never hit a home run off you.
He never hit a home run off me. I think he had something like 80 home runs in high school, but he never hit one off me.
Well done.
I'm not gonna lie, Deary, for like the first 30 seconds of you explaining this answer, in my head I'm thinking Jim Henson, like the Muppet creator. And I'm like, wait, is this like an inside joke? I'm like, oh, it's okay, yeah. Like total brain issue.
Oh boy, does anyone know what's happening with this show anymore? I am lost. We're just having fun here. We're just having a good old time with Yancy Eaton, living it up, talking about Drew Henson. Drew Henson was next door neighbors of the town I grew up in and played in the same league as Deary because he was in a couple towns over. So if you remember Drew Henson at all, for those of you that are non-Michiganders, not a lot to remember beyond signing with the Yankees, shitting the bed, and he was on the Cowboys for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. I remember this.
He should have stuck with football the whole time. Played quarterback at Michigan and then left to go play baseball because he got drafted by the Yankees when he should have just gone and played football and never went back to baseball.
Yeah, it's very rare that football loses to baseball. It seems like football wins most of the time. Kyler Murray, he took he was drafted by the A's in like the top 10, right? And
Russell Wilson,
yeah, football allure. I mean, quarterback. Tim Tebow.
I thought you said Tim Tebow. I was like, oh man,
Tim Tebow.
Tim Taco Bell.
I actually lived in Gainesville whenever Tebow was obviously going there, and man, it was an experience, man. It is literally like a religious experience. That man is a god in that town.
Well, he is.
It is
the
unbelievable,
God, right? Not a god, but the God.
Yeah, literally like Son of Christ, like he, the hand of God, right? The left hand of God.
The left hand of God himself?
He's left-handed. Tebow is.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just an idiot. Tebow, we love you. We miss you. He retired from the Mets recently, so now his career as an athlete is finally done. It's fiend. You're listening to the Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Go to rotofanatic.com right now. Check out the Data Monster, or you can check out Carm Mayorano's brand new article. It's an update on his barrel board, fastball barrel board. But these are the decliners. These are the fallers. So we gave you the risers a couple weeks ago. Now he's giving you the other end of that. So check that out on rotofanatic.com. Carm Mayorano at Carm's Clubhouse on Twitter. He's a great follow, real smart guy, knows his shit. He was on Bench with Bubba recently, too, so go check out that episode. Bubba's a great guy. Congratulations to Bubba being in Tout Wars. Very cool. A lot of great people got into Tout Wars. They created some more spots. We heard Jeff Erickson, who was on the show with us a couple days ago, talk about how they tried to make as much room as they could in Tout Wars, but there's still a lot of people. Jeff's a nice guy. He doesn't want to kick anybody out either. So people that complain about these leagues like Tout Wars, these expert leagues, analyst leagues, whatever you want to call them, and say, why don't they get more fresh blood in there? It's not about being old and stodgy either. It's about the fact that they just can't, they don't want to boot some of these people out. So it's not a matter of like trying to block people out. It's about feeling bad, I guess, about kicking people out who've been there for a while.
Inclusion's a good thing.
It is. I'm with you all the way. Hear, hear. Hear, hear, my good man. Oh, how about we talk about some fantasy? You guys want to talk about fantasy baseball or
football, basketball, hockey? Baseball. Baseball. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
we got Yancy here. We got to do some insane fantasy takes.
Insane fantasy takes.
Why you taking that player?
Insane fantasy takes.
Why you taking that player? Why are you taking that player? You know, it's still spring training. It's still the preseason, so we can get on the record with more of our hardcore, insane fantasy takes. Me and Deary have given you several, and I've got a few more I can always throw out there. But Yancy, you're on the show. You're the guest, so why don't you start off? Throw down, man. Give us something good. I know you have it in you.
An insane fantasy take?
Oh, yeah.
Mondesi returns first round value. I think he steals 55 bases. I think he steals 20, or he hits 20 home runs. I think that the concerns about him batting eighth are extremely unwarranted. Like I think that Andrew Benintendi, like while maybe they do move around in the lineup a little bit, I think that Andrew Benintendi has been bad for a little while, and I don't think he's magically going to get better just because he's going into a worse hitter's park. Everybody's just acting like he's going to bounce back. I think Mondesi is a unicorn. I think he's a very special player. I have a lot of him, and it's kind of unusual because I normally don't take players of this profile, but I think Mondesi is absolutely going to smash, and I think next year is going to be the year to be out on him because people are going to be taking him like 9th and 10th overall, and at that point I'll be out, but I'll have already, won all the money, basically. So Mondesi is that one. And I'll also say this too. I think Eugenio Suarez bounces back in a big way, partially because I also have him on my TGFBI team, but I've been targeting him in every NFBC I've done. I think he flirts with 50 home runs. I think that's the type of season we can get out of Suarez.
Insane fantasy takes.
All right.
I love that song.
Good.
Imagine that song at 2x speed, though. It's a bop. It is so good at 2x speed.
Insane fantasy take. Yeah, I don't know. That does sound challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Deary.
Insane fantasy take.
What do you got now, Deary? What's left in the tank at this point?
I know. I hate this segment so much. Basically, I just throw a dart on a board, find a player, and be like, all right, he's either going to be the guy I'm not in on or a guy I am in on. I'm going to go with Victor Robles of the Washington Nationals. So if he's projected to lead off for them right now, play center field, he has Trey Turner, Juan Soto, and Josh Bell hitting behind him. If he can get on base enough, I mean, obviously the OBP of 293 last year, 320 for a career is not going to cut it. But if he can get on base a little higher clip than that, I think he has a really good opportunity to score 100 runs and steal 25 bases. I think the 25 bases is going to happen. If he can get on base enough, I think that happens. And if he's on base enough, he's going to be knocked in by the best hitter in the game, Juan Soto, and Trey Turner's there as well, who's also going to have a monster season. So if you're looking for a guy a little later, he's starting to rise up a lot right now. Like I think ADP averages like 150, 160, which maybe a little too high for me. He's not going to give you average, so you're going to have to surround some other guys on your squad to get some good average. But hey, 25 steals, possibly 100 runs. I think runs is an underrated statistic in fantasy baseball. We're going to go with Victor Robles. 25 stolen bases, 100 runs.
Insane fantasy take.
Yeah. I'm all about that, dearie. I love me some Victor Robles this year. I think 30-30 is very much a possibility. It could happen.
Wait a minute. You're saying 30 home runs or 30 pop-ups?
30 home runs? 30-30,
wow.
yeah.
I don't know about that. He does not hit the ball that hard.
Well, I mean...
But hey, that's more insane.
Yeah, maybe. That wasn't my insane take. I just kind of threw that out there.
I like that. Hey, I like it.
That was willy-nilly. Maybe we should call them willy-nilly takes.
No.
That doesn't
I do like your pick though, Derry, because he was everybody's boyfriend last year and he was being overdrafted and he looked awful. This is when you buy, right? That's the exact type of player you should be targeting.
Filth, slime, muck, boo, boo, boo.
No?
What a drop. That's amazing.
That's fantastic. I love it. I have a poster of that in my hallway of that movie.
Yeah. Did you know that's from The Princess Bride, for those of you that don't know? And did you know that at Deary's wedding, Christina walked down the aisle to the Princess Bride theme song?
I cried my eyes out.
It's beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. It was the best walking down the aisle music of all time, any wedding I've ever been to. It was.
It was beautiful.
I was there, and it was in beautiful Western New York.
I was there.
Nothing like beautiful Western New York. So.
You were there. You had long hair. Remember that?
Yeah, not as long as this. It was.
It was long. No, it was long. It was long.
Yeah, it was quite the sight back then.
I remember you showed up. I go, "What are you doing? What's going on with your hair? Come on!" You're like, "Oh, I didn't have time, man. I don't know, man." I think you told me I'm too fat to cut my hair.
I kind of lived on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, those are different times.
I was just happy you were there, Michael.
It was a nice drive up from Maryland to Rochester. Beautiful. Maddie Woods checking in, by the way. What's up, Maddie? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Tim Roofer, we're trying to do an insane fantasy take segment here, but he wants to know, is Kyle Tucker going to be for real?
Is he for real going to be worth a second-round draft pick?
Sure.
I have my doubts. I've taken him a couple of times there just because my first-round pick didn't have any speed. Man, I don't know. I'm sorry, buddy. To me, it feels like he's being overdrafted a little bit.
You let me down, man.
I don't know, man. Figure it out. You're an adult. Make your own life choices. I don't know. I don't know. I just wish
advice ever. Hey, you're a grown-ass man. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah, I wish he was going like 15 or 20 picks a little bit later. It just feels like there's some weird inflation going on with him. Like, I think he's a very fine player. I just don't know. At the end of the year, like he might, if you were more in like the range of like a Arozarena, I think I'd be more apt to taking him. But as of right now, I'm not really doing it.
Hold on to your butts.
I got to tell you, Kyle Tucker is someone you should keep an eye on. I'm a little skeptical. A good friend of mine who I trust a lot when it comes to baseball. He's a little concerned about a long swing. Some holes in that swing. Just something to throw out there. He also wants to know about Mitch Haniger. Remember Mitch Haniger?
We talked about him
back from the
a couple
dead.
episodes ago, I thought.
We did. Yeah, he came up. I think it might have been the Crisp episode on Saturday. We were talking with baseball pods. But yeah, Mitch Haniger, he's not done.
I'm pretty high on Mitch Haniger. I feel like he is one of a handful of players where there is such a gigantic chasm between what the projections think that he's going to do, which is hit around 30 home runs and steal a couple of bases and just be like a really nice cog in the middle of that lineup. Yeah. And where you look at it, where he's drafted, it doesn't make sense. It's not commensurate to what he's actually going to give you on the field. I feel like he's kind of a forgotten player. And yeah, I've been taking him a ton as like a fourth and fifth outfielder type. I absolutely love Haniger this year.
Wow, absolutely love. Okay, that's
absolutely love. That's an endorsement.
That's almost an insane fantasy take in itself. But
yeah,
I'll leave it there. For me, insane fantasy take wise, I think Jeff Mcneal will win the batting title this year in the National League. Jeff McNeil.
Mike, you said that last week.
Did I? Yeah. Shit.
Then pick another National League player to win the batting title.
I'm
I think Juan Soto is going to win the batting title.
No, I'm so glad you told me that because I wasn't sure if I'd actually said it or not. I don't go back and listen to our episodes.
Yeah, it was like I don't even remember who we had on, but you just like popped it in real quick.
Damn it. All right, let me.
You can go further about it though, because I like the take, and we haven't talked a ton about Jeff McNeal as well.
Oh, I love Jeff McNeal. I'm a huge fan. I've always been a fan. I would love him with the eligibility options. He just provides so much in so many different ways. So I love Jeff McNeal all day long. But if you want an insane fantasy take, I got to deliver. You know, people want to know what I think, and I'm going to give it to them. Or maybe you don't want to know what I think, and I'm going to give it to you anyways. Hear me now and believe me later, everybody, as I put it on the record in this moment. I say Jose Barrios will lead the American League in quality starts.
You just took my guy.
Wow.
Did I really?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Barrios.
Really? I had no idea. This is not pre-planned. I'm serious.
I love it.
Wow.
My take was going to be that Jose Barrios finishes as a top 5 starting pitcher.
Insane fantasy takes.
Wow. Well, great. We're simpatico.
I look at kind of the guy, like, I don't think he's going to become what Garrett Cole is, but I'm looking at the guy who's been in the league like 3-4 years and has made these progressions. The guy has given 200 innings the past 2 years besides 2020. And the guy's got the stuff. I mean, he's got an electric fastball and an amazing slider. It's just whether or not he can stay away from the walks and stay away from the home run, which he's been able to do. Ground ball guy, gets out of jams. I think this could be the year where it's like, hey, he's sitting at like a 3.2 ERA, 20 quality starts, 14, 15 wins. K per 9 will be just fine. Stick probably maybe a little under 10. But maybe it rises up like Garrett Cole did when Cole started hitting the rubber to the road when he was with Houston. So I love me some Barrios. I took him as my 3rd starting pitcher in NFBC TGFBI.
I love him as an SP3 on a staff.
Yep.
Natty Wood, who just said hi earlier. I can't remember what the league was. Maybe it was a tag team league. I can't remember. But he took Barrios as his SP1, and he has a lot of compelling arguments as to why he would do that. I feel like Jose Barrios he's like a Major League Baseball proxy to like Drew Brees, which is like when you look at like the summation of his career, the bag is kind of light. Like, I feel like his performance doesn't line up with what our expectations of him are. I feel like he's just kind of fine. But I mean, people smarter than I am are on him kind of having like taking this next step this year. So, I mean, I guess you can do much worse. He's a very safe pick like you said, like as your 3rd ace on your staff.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm digging it.
Was that kind of hedgy? That sounded kind of hedgy. I hate when people do that. They're like, well, he could be good, but like there's a path for him to be bad, but like, like he could be good too. Like, if it's a value, like, okay, all right, cool. I swear to God, if I have to hear one more person say, thank you. If I have to hear one more person on a podcast say like, well, he's gonna like a hitter, like, he's gonna be fine. Like, he'll get you a little bit of pop and a little bit of speed. Like, he won't really kill you in average. Yeah. That's like 75% of the player pool in fantasy. Like, that's literally every player. I never want to hear that again. I never want to hear that again. Yeah. He'll hit for a little bit of pop, a little bit of speed, won't really kill you in average,
Okay, all right. That wasn't a hedge though.
Shout out to Matty Wood though. He's in my TGFBI league.
This could be a 4-hour pod if Govier didn't have a draft at 11. Thank you, Richard. How do you know that? How does everyone know my life? God, it's the second person who, I guess, the second person is like, hey, I see you're drafting tonight. How does everyone know this? It's amazing. Yes, I have a draft at 11.
You're a popular guy. People like you.
Well, thank you. I love, this is a whole experience. Spend a lot of time alone and not connecting with people. So now we're out in the world. We're connecting, me and Deary, talk fantasy baseball. We meet people like you, and we get to learn and have some laughs. This is a great experience. And all jokes aside, this really is a fun and enjoyable and positive experience for us. And it's great to know you now and get to converse with you, various different communication channels, and people like Richard Zeitor and Tim Roofer, old time people still mixing in the lifestyle. I never thought I'd be at 2021 hanging out on the internet, talking with a friend of mine and a new friend of mine with some old guys that I knew in high school, like in 5th grade, would be on the internet asking questions. It's crazy. You never know where you'll end up in your life. So
you're living the dream, truly.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm living some type of...
Whoa. I don't know about that.
I didn't say that, Yancy. But I would say, it's a good time.
Party people.
Mike, this is my song.
You got to get funky. I found that one today. I was like, we got to get that back in the mix. So, and I actually should have played it earlier when we were talking about the bird flying out of the lamp.
We're talking about Big Clear.
Yeah. This is from NBA 2K7. This is how the game always started. If you ever played NBA 2K7, you would remember that. Anyways, where are we? Insane Fantasy Takes? What's happening?
Yep.
You got another one, Yancy? You want to do another one?
Insane Fantasy Takes.
I do have one.
Oh, give it to us.
I think that next year Jose Altuve is not draftable in a standard 5x5 league. Like next year, we won't be drafting him. You'll see people that are taking him like at the back end of like the 350 range. I feel like it flies off a cliff. I feel like the playoffs were a complete mirage. I feel like this year, once we start getting fans back into the stadiums, I feel like this is the year where the universe puts all of its energy and towards the bad karma that Houston should have gotten last year, but they got bailed out by the pandemic. They're going to start feeling this. I feel like that team is going to be completely dismantled. I don't think he steals anymore. I think, like I said, the power mirage that you saw during the playoffs does not come back. I think that he becomes like an afterthought in fantasy baseball drafts next year. And I also want to say, I literally just came up with this. So also let me hedge.
That's the point of this. You're not supposed to put any research in it. You just find a guy and then talk about it.
And I'll say this too. I think that Austin Meadows is another player in that Ketel Marte bucket, where right now we're taking him much, much later than we should have been taking him. And I think next year he's going to be back to 2019 ADP levels. We're going to be taking him, you're going to be looking at him in the third round, oh my God, I want Austin Meadows so bad. That's going to happen again. 35 home runs, 10 stolen bases. He's going to bat 290. Rays are going to be lit again. Austin Meadows.
Enjoy the value.
Upswing. Altuve on the downswing. You're gonna be like, "Ew, I don't want to draft Altuve. I'd rather draft Starlin Castro." That's going to happen next year. Yeah, why take Jose Altuve when I can just get Jonathan Scope 20 picks later? That's what you're going to say at some point next year.
I'm not going to say.
I'm proud of this. I'm really proud of this.
You can be proud of all you want, but there's no way Jose Altuve. You're implying with your reasoning that Jose Altuve is going to have a shitty 2021 because that's going to lower his stock next year. So I don't see that happening. I see a good year in the cards for them. The Astros should be a pretty good offensive team, and he's not done yet. He's 32. He's got life left in his. I don't know if he'll steal bases anymore, but he can still hit. So I disagree.
It's an insane fantasy take.
That's as insane as you get. I love it.
Insane Fantasy Takes.
I respect it. I don't agree with it, but I fucking respect it all day. So that's all you need to know. All right, Deary, you got one more? You want to do one more?
You want to hear about Matt Chapman or Charlie Blackmon?
Blackmon.
Oh, okay. Charlie Blackmon steals double-digit bases this year.
Insane Fantasy Takes.
It hasn't happened in a couple of years.
It's been 3 years.
The Rockies, he's now 35 years older. He will be 35 this year. I think Charlie Blackmon's going a little undervalued. I think he's going to bat 300 like he always does. Colorado's going to be struggling for some offense. I think they have a nice top of the lineup with Story, Tapia, and Blackmon as well. And I think they're going to be moving on the bases to get something going, especially with Arenado gone. So I think he gets a return to running a little bit, and I'm going to say he steals 10 bases.
I like this a lot.
I dig
As
it.
somebody that has a ton of Charlie Blackmon, he's just like one of the safest players you can draft in the top 100. It's so easy, but the thing with steals is it is 100% about intent, right? Some of your conventional year-to-year stolen base leaders, these are guys that are in the 30 to 40th percentile in sprint speed. It's not a speed thing; it's an intent thing. And you know what? Real quick, I know we're running super long. My wife is hella pissed, but
is she? Malika, we're sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I will say this, Mike Trout, everybody's like, oh, you can't take Mike Trout in the top 10. And I really haven't been doing either. I'm not saying that people are wrong. I think that Mike Trout could literally just flip a switch and decide that he wants to steal bases again.
Yes.
And Mike Trout could literally hit 45
45
home runs and steal 30 bases. And we're all going to have egg on our face for passing, the 10 or 11 people around that pass on him. He could just decide to steal bases again this year. And that would just, I don't have a reason for saying that it could happen other than it's literally just the flip of a switch. Somebody mentally decides that they want to steal bases this year.
Well, he's still done it. Just didn't do it last year. Recencybias.com. The Mike Trout hate is ridiculous. It's so over the top. And I know Dave McDonald is one of the biggest offenders of this. I love you, Dave. You're one of our Midwestern Rust Belt bros, but you're over the top on the Trout take. It's just not accurate. So we'll find out, though. I'm with Yancy on this. I think that is something to look forward to. And I like the take about Blackmon, Yuri. That's fun. Let's see what happens.
Well, it's also because I just drafted him about an hour and a half ago. So
Insane fantasy take.
We got an insane fantasy take from the crowd here. The community's chiming in. Tim Roofer says, insane fantasy take. Miguel Cabrera hits over 20 home runs! ! I'm
going to ride the pine on that one.
Oh. Why you got to take the wind out of his sails?
Well, he only needs 13 to get to 500, I believe. So just get to there. Just hit 15, get to your 500, and call it a day.
What about 3,000 hits?
How far is he away from that? 150?
Like 400. 150? Oh, is that close now? Shit.
No, he's like 450 away from 2,000 RBIs.
Oh, RBIs,
yeah. I think he's about 150 from 3,000 hits. So I think that'll happen next year.
2022. Okay. Yeah, 150 hits would be a tall order at his age right now. He currently has 2,866 hits. Yeah, so 144 hits remaining. And that will not happen this year. Last time he had 144 hits in a season? Anybody? Want to guess?
2013.
2016. Yeah. He had 188 hits. He had 188 hits in 2016. So he had a 316 average. He has a career 313 hitter. So
that's why I want him to retire. Like he's going to turn into Pujols where that average just keeps dropping.
I know Pujols has just dipped below 300, which is insane to think about how good he was.
Tragedy.
He's a 300 hitter.
You think about JFK. You think about, what happened to Eric Clapton's kid. I mean, this is a fucking tragedy.
The Challenger explosion.
Yeah, the Challenger explosion. Yeah.
Binkler being given away.
9/11.
Yeah, this is. Oh my, we're walking on dangerous ground here. We're going to pull it back here, and we're going to move forward because sarcasm is just supposed to be fun and innocent and silly. We're a show about baseball, fantasy baseball. We're talking with Yancy Eaton, and Yancy is a genius on many different levels. Some we may never even know about, which is, it's really hard to extrapolate that. We want to give a shout out to his lovely wife, Malika. She's awesome. She's cool. Hope to meet her someday. She's really cool. Maybe we'll see her in real life, Maybe we'll raise a glass and say, hello, Malika. Thank you for inviting us to Florida. Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go to a spring training game. We used to go to Lakeland. That was fun for us. We loved going to Lakeland for the Tigers games.
We went once, and it was cold. It sucked.
That's wild.
Yeah, he's right. The one time we went together, it was cold and it was shitty. Yeah, it was really cold. Like
you're saying that like it's like my fault. You're looking at me like it was shitty.
No,
like it's
you.
like
I've been to Lakeland 3 times. Yeah, 3 times, and that was a cold one. Yeah, but Andy Van Slyke threw us that ball. That was nice of him. Thanks, Andy.
Who's got that ball? You still got that ball?
I had it in a bag somewhere. I think I still got it. It didn't have anything on it to identify it as a ball. It just looks like a dirty baseball. So I don't know if we can really know what ball it is anymore.
You hit a home run that day, Mike Hessman.
Did he? No shit. Yeah. Fucking A. That's awesome. Wow. Well, we haven't even got to it. How about we play the best game in town, the funnest game there ever was, the most exciting darn thing you ever done seen. It's called Shine or Ride the Pine. What do you say, Yancy? In or out?
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
Shine or Ride the Pine on Shine or Ride the Pine?
Shine.
Yay! All right.
Yes.
We're in business.
Your reactions are like the best.
Oh, that's great, man. All right, we're in business. This is going to be fun. We'll find out what Yancy thinks. We'll get him on the record. No mistakes, no errors, no letdowns. This is full bore. We are giving it to you with everything we got. Don't forget we're part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network, which is part of rotofanatic.com, and you can go to the website and play with the data monster. If you hear any predictions about our expectations on the projections we share with you in this segment, go to rotofanatic.com, type it into the old data monster, and see what comes out. See if you find some stats that intrigue you and maybe raise your expectations on certain player projections. Today, we're going to use Stomper. I think we used Carnes last time. I like to use Steve Paulo. Shout out to Steve, our guy. He's one of our favorites. StomperProjections.com. He's in my TGFBI league, by the way. We got an intense rivalry going on. Chris Towers also in my TGFBI league. Some big hitters. Andy Behrens, he's from Yahoo. There's a lot of guys that know their stuff. So Steve drafted a San Francisco Giant today. And if you've listened to Steve on the show ever, he's not a fan of the Giants. He's an Oakland A's guy, big time. But he showed that you can't let fandom dominate your purview. You got to take the guy.
8th round.
Yeah, Brandon Belt off the board in round 8. Steve Paulo, how could you?
Sorry,
Still
this
shocking.
is not an OBP league, Steve.
He took what's his face, Yastrzemski. So he didn't like it, but he knows a winner's a winner, and that's how it goes. Okay, so you know how the game is played, right, Yancy? You've heard this before?
Mm-hmm.
Yay, cool. I'm going to give you a projection, and you're going to say shine or ride the pine. It's just that easy. I'm hoping to avoid any repeats. I've been working really hard to kind of keep track recently, so I'm hoping that this will make sense. But, hey, we'll find out. Mike Moustakas, he's a Cincinnati Red. He plays first and second base, depending on your league format. We expect Mike Moustakas to give us 29 or more home runs this year, Yancy. Shine or ride the pine?
29. I'll shine. I think he has that in him. I mean, that's a very, very close over/under. I think I would have him literally at like 28 or 29, but I'll shine that. I think Moustakas has a pretty big year. I think that whole Reds offense kind of like takes a step. Like they're kind of disappointing last year, and everybody was loading up on them, and Castellanos for MVP and all this stuff. Like
oh, remember that?
Yeah, that was a thing. Like people put American dollars on that. Yeah. So yeah, I'll shine that, but just barely. I wouldn't go crazy on it.
Deary, 29 or more bombs.
Yeah, it's a shine. I have him over 30.
Okay. Yep, I'm going to ride the pine on that. I just don't trust him anymore, but I still like the Reds offense. Tim Rufer, still checking in. Love that Tim's being part of the show today. You guys can interact with the show in real time and watch our live streams on YouTube or our Twitter page at Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's, or you can do it on our Facebook Live page where our Facebook page is. We have a Facebook page. Check it out.
Utah, give me 2.
Facebook.com/Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. Mike, do you still have your Tiger ticket from the last game at Tiger Stadium? I do believe I have that, Tim. Yes, me and Tim were at that game together with a big crew of people. It was awesome. The last game at Tiger Stadium. That came up with Chris on last weekend's show. We talked about the final game at Yankee Stadium. So, yes, I still have my ticket, Tim, and I cherish that as one of the finest sporting events I ever got to witness in person. Teoscar Hernandez, Toronto Blue Jays outfielder. Yancy, can we expect Teoscar? Okay.
Will he walk twice?
What do you think, Deary?
What's the line?
No. Let me.
I thought it was like Jeopardy.
No,
where you just don't read.
I want to do this too. I'm going to ride the pine as well.
Okay.
What is it?
I'm going to shine it. I was going to ask 8 or more steals.
All right, so I mean, I didn't think you were going to go the steals route. 8 is kind of low.
That's a projection from Steve Paulo, StomperProjections.com.
I will say this. I remember seeing a tweet from Rob Silver, who is a known Canadian person, and he was talking about how he just thinks when you look at the construction of Toronto's lineup, he thinks that he's going to take the under on stolen bases and projections for basically the entire lineup when it comes to stealing, just because there are so many amazing hitters in that lineup that they don't have to run into outs on the base pass. And he just thinks that they're just not going to run. So I'm going to ride the pine on that. Like I initially said, preemptively, rudely cutting you off. But I'll stand by it just barely. I think he gets 6 or 7. And it's not that he's, a dog shit player. It's just that he's not going to have to. They're not going to have to fabricate runs in that type of way.
That's a very logical, rational argument. Deary, you going to stay with your ride the pine on that?
I am going to. I'm going to back up everything Yancy said. I just don't think that lineup is going to need to run so much because they're just going to have big boppers everywhere. So I would take the under on almost all those guys stolen bases.
Oh my God, bopper. Hello, baby. The big bopper speaking. We talked about boppers this morning on the Fantasy Pros Baseball podcast. That's so funny. Dan Harris is calling them boppers, and we just started talking about the big bopper. So, big bopper. 2 for Tuesday on a Wednesday with the big bopper. Hello, baby. Chantilly lace and a pretty face. Blah, 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 blah. Jared Walsh of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He's a first baseman. He kind of came on the scene with a little bit of heat last year. So, do you think we can expect 25 or more home runs this year from Jared Walsh, Yancy Eaton. Shine or ride the pine?
I'm going to ride the pine on that. That's a little too rich. However, I think he's a very, very good player. And I think if the projections are a little lower in his batting average than I think, but I mean, when he came up, he just looked like he knew what the hell he was doing. I do think he's a fantastic hitter. I think he's going to hit over 20, but I don't know if I would go up to 25, but I think he's going to actually be a surprising source of batting average late in your drafts. I have him in a couple of leagues, one particularly, like he fell like 80 picks past his ADP. And like, I literally had to like go to like RotoWire and like double check, like, did this guy get hurt? Like, what's the news here? Did they trade him or something? But I think he's going to be a fantastic source of batting average late. And I want more shares of him than I have. So I'll ride the pine, or I'll shine. I will. I will ride the pine,
but you still like him.
Yeah, I'm being nice about it, but yeah, just a little under 25. That's a little too rich, but yeah, I'm riding the pine on that.
I'm going to ride the pine on that. Deary, what about you? 25 or more home runs?
I'm also going to ride the pine, but I like the player, and I'm also a little confused by some of the projections. A lot of people don't think he's going to get 500 bats. I think he gets 500 bats. There's no competition there at first base. Albert Pujols is going to retire after several weeks. And I also agree with Yancy.
It's his final season, so he's made it official, right? So he's going to do like the farewell.
He'll go around, do the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They'll give him a motorcycle at every place he goes to or something like that. But yeah, and I also think he's going to give you a lot better batting average than a lot of projections. I mean, 293 and 108 at bats last year through the minors. You know, he was batting closer to a 275. 290. Back in A ball with a 430 plate appearances. So I think he has more plate appearances, but I am going to ride the pine. I think he's a great guy to look at in Dynasty because I think he projects out to being a 35 plus home run guy.
How about that? I like that. All right. And he will get the opportunities. There's no doubt about it. The guy over at The Athletic, the Angels beat reporter at The Athletic, Fabian's his first name. I don't know his last name, but he was on the Fantasy 15 with Al Melchior and Derek Van Riper talking about Jared Walsh is getting all the opportunity. He's their focus at first base now. So I trust that. That is rock solid info in my opinion. German Marquez plays for the Rockies. People get really depressed because he plays for the Rockies. But can we expect German Marquez to have a 5.08 or lower ERA this year? Yancy.
Much lower. Much lower.
Even though he plays at, what's it called?
Coors Field. I mean, if you look,
the banquet beer.
Here I'm thinking he really doesn't remember what the name of where the Rockies play, but no, he's just making a drop. He's stalling for the drop.
I've been waiting for the Coors. We haven't had a chance to talk Coors much, so that was an exciting moment for me. I'm really happy we got Sam Elliott in the show. So
yeah, I think he nestles in somewhere. Nestles, there's a good word. Nestles somewhere in between like a 4.5 to like a 4.75. I'm not the first person to say this. Shout out to Draft Cheat and Matty Wood. If he gets traded, he instantly becomes like a top 15 pitcher. He will be drafted in the range of like a Zach Plesac type of thing. That's how much he's going to jump. He's a very, very good pitcher. But I think if you look historically at his splits, he does not get completely destroyed at Coors Field like a lot of people assume that he does. So even if you're, everybody always says this. Jesus Christ. At least you're not doing the small sample alarm. Like you're really going hard on that earlier. Yeah. I mean, there were some episodes like I could feel the PTSD like through your guess, like it, just over and over and over. Long story short, I don't think that whenever people say, oh, you can only use them half the starts, I don't think that's accurate. I think against some of the worser offenses that you're going to see, coming into Coors Field, you can still start him. He's still gets strikeouts, and like I said, in the event that he gets traded, which Colorado is a awful organization and they should have traded him during the offseason, but they haven't. But in the event that he does get traded, I want some. I want to have a couple of him just in case. I'm not building rosters around him, obviously, but I think he's somewhere around a 4.5 to 4.75, and he's going to be a very, very serviceable, usable starter.
Beautiful. I'm going to shine this all day. I know he will beat that ERA. What about you, Deary? 5.08?
Yeah, it's a shine. 2017 at home, 4.59 at home. 2018, 4.74. 19 was over 6, and I didn't look at last year, but we throw out last year. I think he's a great pitcher. Like, I really do. And here's my take. Him and Trevor Story get traded to the Yankees midseason.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is an insane fantasy take. That's what that is. So
Insane fantasy take.
I will say it feels like the Yankees have like a trade waiting. Like there's something that's going to have to happen there.
They're going to need some starting pitching desperately. I mean, you can't go with a bunch of guys that are coming back from Tommy John.
Yeah, like they're going to move Tauchman or they're going to move Frazier or like something's going to happen. Like the back end of that rotation is not Yankees-esque. And it looks like I feel like they kind of like overshot or like miscalculated what the market was as far as starting pitchers go. Of course, I say this in 2 days, Jake Odorizzi is going to sign with the Yankees all of a sudden. But like it does feel like there's a move coming or multiple moves coming with the Yankees.
I know Alex Chamber would love to see Tauchman get moved. Free Mike Tauchman, right, Alex? Yep. Shout out to our guy, Alex. We love him. He's funny, and he's shirtless, and he's sexy, but he's also very smart. Jorge Polanco of the Minnesota Twins. I love Jorge Polanco. Looks like he might be moving over to second base this year, though, with Andrelton Simmons in the house. 308 or better batting average this year. Shine or ride the pine, Yancy? 308.
I'm going to ride the pine on that just because it's so hard to project players to get over 300. I almost always take the under on this. So I think he's a fine player. I think he's going to be close to it. He's going to be a batting average asset. I don't know what the power is going to look like with him. He's just a remarkable. You never get like, hey, nice pick in the draft chat whenever you take him. But yeah, he's going to help you in batting average. But I'm going to ride the pine on that. There's no way he hits 308.
Dewey.
Yeah, 308 that's steep. I think he hangs kind of more of like a 285, 290 top. So I'll ride the pine.
I'm going to shine this one. I love Polanco's bat, and I think if he's going to take it to another level this year, then 308, that's in play. I think he can get 310 or better this year. He's a really good hitter. I trust in that. I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't focus so much on the steals. That won't really be a part of his game. But I think this guy can hit. I really do. So I'm going to... It's a little risky, I admit. This is a bold progression as it is. Like taking the chance on this kind of projection to be progressively better than he's really been in his career it's an insane fantasy take, but fuck it.
Well, I think he's one of the guys I think he's one of the guys that like if he's going to bat over 300, it's similar to like a DJ LeMahieu where you throw out the stat cast of barrel percentage and hard hit rate because he does not hit the ball hard and his barrels are garbage. But so is DJ LeMahieu's and he's a batting title champ.
Garbage. Brian Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates offense was anemic, to say the least, last year, and now they say it's even worse. Josh Bell is gone. It's getting tough there. Not a lot of options. But can Brian Reynolds bounce back and hit 273 or better this season, Yancy?
Man, he was really bad last year. 273. I'm going to ride the pine on that too. I want to believe, and I know a lot of people have said that like a big bounce back is coming. And if you look at his expected stats, he should have done much better than he did. But like you said, I mean, just the lineup around him is even worse than it was last year. And you're going to see some parts move. Like Newman's going to be traded, and they might ship off Colin Moran for whatever they can get for him. Like, so it's going to get progressively worse for him. Of course, there is a chance that he gets traded too, and maybe he moves into a better situation than he's in now. But I'll ride the pine on that. I would be thrilled if he's just a league average hitter at, around 255, 260, but 270. No, I don't think he gets that high.
Deary.
So the one thing you can control when you play for a shitty team is you can still have a good batting average and you can still hit home runs. You may not knock anyone in or score runs, but you can hit for batting average. He did it all the way through the minors, did it in 2019 through 546 plate appearances. I'll shine it.
I'm going to shine it too. I love his bat and his skills, and I think he could easily hit 273 or better. I really do.
Do you guys think you're better than me or something?
Yes, absolutely. That's why we're predicting things. If you say something, it's good, wrong. Nancy. If you say something, it's wrong. If we say something, it's right. Maybe you're not aware of this predicament, but that's just how life works. So take a seat, son. What do you think of that? Was that pretty good or what? No comment?
Yeah. No comment.
I was trying to intimidate you. Was that badass or what?
Stop bullying Yancy.
Michael, your facial mannerisms are so underrated. You are one of the most gifable people. If people were just sitting here making gifs of you like an Alex Fass or Nick Pollock, like they do like in game with pitchers, just gif your facial expressions. Like I really think there's like a cottage industry that we could support, just sticking your face on stuff and making gifs.
Well, it's been done before. It was done on a Facebook group that we had where a friend of mine took this picture of me from like 8 years ago, and just this face. I don't know. It was everywhere. It drove me nuts. It was pretty. It was kind of exhausting, I will say that. But it was a stupid face, but I didn't mean it to be, and it just kind of took on a life of its own. So I guess let's do it. Let's go for it. Go for it. We're talking Shine or Ride the Pine here with Yancy Eaton and my co-host Chris Deary. I'm Michael Govier. It's the Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Andrew Benintendi, we talked about him earlier. He came up in the conversation when we were talking about players that might be better in a new location. And I think Yancy said it's no guarantee that Benintendi will be better. So I assume you're going to ride the pine on this. Andrew Benintendi, 68 runs scored or more.
68's pretty low. 68, man. By the way, guys, like I don't have like a show rundown. Like he's giving this to me cold, so I don't know what the projections look like. I don't know where this is.
It's on StopForProjections.com. You could look at it right now, exactly the same way I can.
No,
it's
actually,
a real website.
I told you this before. I'm recording in a garage. Like bandwidth is limited as like I'm not pulling up multiple tabs and stuff. Okay, like this whole thing is hanging by a thread, so I'm literally pulling it from this gigantic brain of mine.
So give it to us. 68 runs or more.
I will shine that. I think he scores at least 68 runs. That's a very, very low total.
I'm going to shine it too. Deary, you want to join us?
Yeah, it's a shine. He's going to bat near the top of the lineup of a kind of sneaky good Royals offense, I believe, this year. So it's a shine for me.
It is a fun offense. The Royals are a fun team. They've really jumped up in my standings of fun teams again. I can't wait to watch the Royals play, even though they're in our division. But we have nothing to play for as Tigers fans, so fuck it. Let's enjoy the Royals. Joe Musgrove. He's in San Diego now. San Diego. People are really excited. His ADP has skyrocketed since that trade took him out of Pittsburgh. In 2021, can we expect Joe Musgrove, of all people, to give us... I'll go with it. Okay. Could we expect him to give us 152 innings pitched or more? 152 innings pitched or more.
I'm gonna ride the pine on that, just because I'm so skeptical of what usage is going to look like for basically everybody.
Yes.
I don't think these projections, and this isn't a shot at anybody or Steve Paulo or anybody like that. I just don't think that we're accurately accounting for what usage is going to look like, and also the fact that like we still actively have a COVID pandemic. So just there's so much variability that you can throw into this. Like there's a possibility that Joe Musgrove gets COVID. You know, I obviously I don't wish that on him, but like we're still actively dealing with this. So we don't even know, like we could end up with less games. We're not guaranteed to have a 162 game season in 152 innings. That's a great season for any starting pitcher. So I'll ride the pine on that. And as a general rule, like guys, like don't overestimate what certain starting pitchers are going to, like what they're going to pitch. I keep seeing this where it's like, well, listen guys, you know, like with innings, like you really need like those bulldogs, those workhorses that are going to give you 200 innings, because the veterans, they're going to give you 200 innings, you know? And it's like, well, you don't know that. What the best veteran could literally get COVID. Guys, we're still dealing with this. Stop acting like it's over. He says in Florida, as no one around him is wearing a freaking mask. Like, yeah, long story short, I'll ride the pine on that.
That is powerful. Okay, all right. Yeah, that was a reality check, wasn't it? Jerry, what do you say here?
There's no real. It's hilarious because there's no real answers to this. Because just last week we were talking about go after those bulldogs that you know can get 200 innings. There's going to be a handful of guys. But Yancy's right. I mean, we truly have no idea. But I'm also not going to live in a world of fear anymore. So I'm going to say it's going to happen. We're going to play 162 games. Joe Musgrove starts 32 games, throws 175 innings. I'm going to shine it.
Wow. Okay, that's living life on the edge.
So that was our problem the last year. We've just been living in fear, guys. If we just stop being afraid of it, COVID would just go away.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Trust me, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Listen, I refuse to live in fear. Okay. I know. I'm not. That's a mischaracterization of what you're saying. I know. I'm just trying to be funny.
Yes.
I just want baseball to happen. I want a full season, no COVID, nothing. Take all the precautions, please.
I'm with you. I hear you, my friend, but I'm riding the pine on that. No way Musgrove can crack 150 IP this year. No. It would blow my mind. I would love to see it, but I do not expect it. So prove me wrong, Joe.
Those are the hardest projections to go over or under on is innings pitched. I think we have one to every segment. It's so hard.
Yes, I agree. I concur. Yeah. Gary Sanchez, a catcher for the New York Yankees. Gary Sanchez.
200 strikeouts.
Will he hit 195 or better this year?
195.
That's the projection Steve Paulo has as of today. 195 or better for Gary Sanchez.
I think he was fundamentally broken last year. It was literally about as bad as he can possibly get. I still want to believe he can be the most prodigious power hitting catcher in the game, even better than Real Muto. Like that's not even that's not a thing. Like yes, he can do that. I think we saw the absolute worst that we will ever see from him from a batting average standpoint, and it was really really bad. But I have to think he was working on things that the team was working on things with him. We've seen this before. We've seen what a good season from Gary Sanchez looks like, and I just have to think that it's better than 195. There's no way. And also, I think with what's his name, Higashioka, with him batting behind him, I think they're going to kind of pick his spots a little bit more. Maybe he gets a little less playing time, and in the end, like his batting average looks a little bit better. And that's actually better for fantasy owners because he's kind of put in better spots. I'll say better than 195. I'm not saying he's going to bat 270 or anything like that, but I think you're going to have a ton of power from him. You're going to be happy with where you drafted him, and maybe he's a 220, 230 type hitter.
Woohoo, Deary!
I want to see 2017 Gary Sanchez again. 278, 33 home runs, 79 runs, 90 RBIs. He only struck out 22% of the time. It's been just all downhill since then. But I don't think he gets 500 bats. I think they kind of pull him back a little bit. And if he bats under 200, I don't know how much longer he's going to be on the Yankees, which is unfortunate with me being married to a diehard Yankees fan. So I say he bats about 220, 230, which would be just fine. Keep him in the lineup. But he's got to improve some of those catching skills as well, or else he's not going to be playing for the Bronx Bombers. But I will shine the 196.
Hell yeah. Shine this all day. Shine everything Gary Sanchez. Give me all the Gary Sanchez. I want it now. He's going to kill it this year. He's a great hitter in terms of power. Yes, he's not a batting average stud, but he can crush the ball, and he plays in a park that loves balls to be crushed there. He's going to hit 30 home runs this year, no problem, and it's going to be all good. Don't you worry.
Problem. No problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's no problem.
Yeah. Hey, it's money in the bank, my friend.
What does Paulo have for home runs for Gary?
20. Nope.
No.
Amateur hour. I'll blow. Yeah. All right, there it is. Shine or ride the pine. Oh my gosh, what a show! I can't believe it. We have been, it doesn't always happen this way, but just had a great conversation with you, and time actually did fly by at like this ridiculous rate. It wasn't.
I can feel
painful.
God in this podcast.
I don't know if there is a God, but if there is,
Tebow's left hand. Come on, Tebow's left hand.
Tebow, everybody, Tebow. We got to get in a quick question before you go, though. This one's from your old pal. You know him well. Maybe you don't. Brian Rudd. Do you know Brian Rudd?
Yeah, we're friends. Absolutely.
Okay, see, I didn't know if you actually knew each other. Outside of Glasnow or Yarborough, which two Tampa starting pitchers returned the most value this season?
This is an awful question, and it's hellaciously unfair.
Yeah, I bet.
So let's break down the definition of value, right? Value doesn't mean who scored the most points or had the biggest impact on my team. It's who had the biggest impact relative to what I paid for them, right? I'm going to go a little off the board right here. I don't think it's going to be Luis Patino. I don't think it's going to be Rich Hill. I think like he's going to be a 3 or 4 inning guy, and you're going to see him in and out of the lineup and, IL stints galore kind of thing. I don't think he's going to pitch enough to have, too much of an impact. I'm going to go with like what pitcher I've been taking in the 49th and 50th round of a bunch of NFBCs, and that is Shane McClanahan. He is their top prospect. He debuted in the playoffs last year. He is left-handed. He throws absolute gas from the left-hand side. He has 3 developed pitches. This is one of those things where, like, I feel if you have the space to stash him on your roster before he actually gets called up and you can save a bunch of fab, I think that there's an immense upside there for him to be an extremely usable starting pitcher. And like I said, from a value standpoint, he's literally going in like the 500s or 600s in AP. I haven't checked it in a while, but he's free. if you want him, all you have to do is just take him. He's there for you. This is a top prospect. This is a very, very good pitching arm. So yeah, go get you Shane McClanahan. Do not draft him in 12 teamers. Don't draft him in a, in a 23 round league or a 30 round, standard TGFBI league kind of thing. It's not that type of move, but in a much, much deeper league, keep an eye out on him. And I think he's going to return a ton of value.
I love it. I love it so much. I have him in my score sheet league as one of my minor league keepers this year. I can't wait for him to bloom and blossom. Love it. I love it. I love it. That's a great call. Shane McClanahan.
You're a great call.
Well, we're all great calls. All three of us. We're great calls. There it is. That's the question of the night. And there was a perfect question for you, a Tampa Bay question. Go out on top. There it is. Yancy Eaton. We have completed a show. The podcast is done, in the can. It's over. We covered a lot of ground here, and we hope you enjoyed it. Yancy, any final words?
Wear a mask. Be kind to other people. I will also say, my wife makes me say this to justify me spending time doing these podcasts. We are both realtors in Southwest Florida, and we can help you buy and sell. Wow. Yeah, we work together. She's the eye candy.
Did you not listen to the podcast, Mike?
Yeah, you were here, Mike.
Yeah, he works with his wife. They run their own company.
I did hear that part, but I don't know if she was the realtor, just did admin bullshit. I don't know.
What if I'm the admin bullshit and she does it all?
Well, no, you're a realtor. You told me that. I know you're
stereotyping.
Mike, your sexist is showing. Mike,
that's bullshit. We never got a fucking title on her. I don't know.
Gotta pick it up, man.
It's a bunch of
Other
trash.
than that, I just have one more question. I was going to say also, regardless of where you guys live, if it's not in Florida, if you guys are looking for a realtor, my wife and I, that's something that we also do. We help refer people out. It helps us. It helps you. It takes a lot of the work out of your hands. Again, I'm contractually obligated as I sleep in the same bed with her to say that. So just keep that in mind.
Do you know Steve Laskowski?
I don't. He sounds like a great guy, though.
He is. He's a good friend of ours. He's a realtor here. You should
Michigan.
Know him.
Yeah,
in Ann Arbor.
He sounds amazing. Sounds like
you guys would get along to you. Yeah, we got to. Yes.
All jokes aside, that's the type of connections that I need. So yeah, we'll talk off air.
Great. He's a greght guy. He's no bullshit. He's one of the best men that I've ever known.
Other than that, very quickly, I know we've run super long, and thank you guys for having me on. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to everything. And this podcast that you guys have right here is very, very special. It's a lightning rod to the industry. You guys are creative. You're fun. Your voices are different, and they play off of each other. Which it sounds like I'm making a joke. I'm not. I listen to so many podcasts where I can't tell who is saying what. Everything that you guys are doing, I love it. I'm totally behind it. I'm literally obsessed with this podcast. I listen to every single thing that you guys put out. So Deary, Govier, super proud of you guys. Thank you for having me on. I wanted to come on sooner. I know I kind of gave you the, I got to see what my February looks like, but in all seriousness, I hope you guys win the whole freaking podcast challenge or whatever it is. And I know I'm not supposed to say that, but being on the selection committee, but you guys are like a dark horse. It's like you guys and there's a handful of other independent podcasts that have come out that just it's just must listen to every single week. And I really genuinely appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Very well said. I'm going to get emotional here. I'm going to try to.
He's gonna play a drop, is what he's gonna do.
I could have, yeah, but I won't.
Oh, I thought that's what you're doing. Okay, no,
I just thank you.
Really very appreciative, Nancy.
And the Baseball Pods tournament, yeah, still going on too. By the way, whenever you're listening to this, or I know this is streaming out. If you haven't voted today, you see this right now. Go at Baseball Pods on Twitter. Vote for today's round 2 showdown. There's an hour and a half. It goes till midnight. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this after the fact, vote for us on Thursday. We're going up against Bubba and Bat Flip Crazy Thursday. So we'll see what happens.
It's like the second round of Survivor Series, and we're Doink the Clown, and we're going against the Hulkamania. We're going against Ultimate Warrior or something. We're huge underdogs. Give both of our pods a listen. That's all we care about.
Yeah, yep. That's all we care about. And Yancy, I want to let you know that we really, really appreciate you've been very kind to us, promoting us and sharing us with other people who may not have heard of us. So that means a lot. Really means a lot to me. It means a lot to Deary. We thank you for that. Deary, CDeary1999 on Twitter. You got those explanations coming out yet or what?
I'm working on it, man. I've been really busy, unfortunately.
Real life, yes.
Yeah, real life. But I got to catch up on my Twitter and start throwing some stuff out there. But hopefully this weekend. My wife also just got back from vacation, so I'm looking forward to spending some time with her. Sorry, honey. This went 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I'm Michael Govier, and you can catch me on MJ Govier on Twitter. GOV is in Victor IER. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. I was on the Fantasy Pros podcast. Go check that out with Dan Harris and Joe Pisapia. Love both those guys. Very cool people. Friend of Yancy, too. Check that out, the Fantasy Pros. I'll be on the Roto Brits, and then me and Deary will be on the Triple Play podcast with Mendy, Little Cheesecake, and Doc. So we're going to be out and about. Catch those shows. Enjoy everything you hear. We always appreciate the time. Godspeed, everybody.